Big news. Sephora is now on Uber Eats. So if you find yourself facing a beauty emergency, like needing a last-minute gift, or you're just out of your favorite mascara, again, don't panic. We got you. Order now and get $10 off on Sephora orders of $50 or more on the Uber Eats app. Order now. Offer ends October 30th. One order per customer. Additional terms apply. See app for availability. Delivery fees may apply.
Today we're gonna conquer your EV phobia in the all-electric Toyota BZ.
I can do this. I'm doing it!
One drive can change your mind in the all-electric BZ. Toyota, let's go places.
Live from New York. We probably need to dial that back.
This was for you.
We probably need to dial it back.
This is for you. This is Wild's best day.
You're
gonna
break the table.
It's just a little. Your glass almost did fall, but this KW.
It's too much.
Jalen, perfect passer rating.
That's not for me.
Drake May, great.
That's why
day.
you were doing it?
Well.
Okay.
Wow.
First hour.
It's a good day.
It's a lot. The poor people on the podcast, ears are bleeding. Today, Classic 1, the Chiefs crushed the Raiders. Are they officially back? Not back like we don't score points but make it to the Super Bowl. I mean, really back. Meanwhile, with a dominating victory over the Vikings, that actually did, are all of the concerns about the Eagles a thing of the past, Drew? And finally, Cowboys. This offense cooks. Dak has an MVP claim. Does Dallas?
He? Yeah, doesn't he? He's got the same, literally the same exact MVP claim Burrow had. Which is
but that wasn't much of a claim.
Well, that was fringes.
3-3-1.
That wasn't much.
It's fringes.
Yeah.
He's on
in the conversation.
Fringes. Yeah, there you go.
Is he not in the conversation?
He certainly, Brew, at least deserves. We should have a conversation about is he in the conversation?
He's got to be in the. He's the whole team.
You got to win more. Dak is playing great. Don't get me wrong.
But it's the same thing as Burrow.
I want some W's.
They were 500.
I know, and I didn't really seriously consider Burrow.
Tied the Packers.
Yeah, the Packers, who some people think are going to the Super Bowl.
4-1-1.
There
I'll
you
take
go.
it.
And that one is courtesy of Dallas.
Nick Wright, Kevin Wilds, Chris Broussard. We're starting in Kansas City. Nick, you guaranteed an impressive victory, and somehow the Chiefs over-delivered.
Yeah.
Rashee Rice returned, caught 2 of Mahomes' 3 touchdowns as the Chiefs' defense held the Raiders to 3 first downs. 3. Here's Mahomes on the entire team's success.
I think there's been points kind of throughout these last few years, but I think this is probably the most consistent that we've seen, that we've been able to play and kind of stack games together. And obviously our record's still not where we want it to be, but you can see from offense, defense, we've had bright moments in this season, and now it seems like we're coming together as a team. And that's what you want to do is be a team as the season goes on and keep getting better. And we're still early. We got everything out in front of us. How can we be better this next week going up against a good football team?
Okay. Now this is different. This isn't.
I mean, it's close.
But this is different.
It's close.
This is how normal.
Well, because he's doing it from the beginning of the Giants game.
The beginning of the game.
As opposed to at halftime, which is where things. Did they look good the first half of the Giants game?
They didn't, but I'm just telling you. Just civilians talk about when a team, you know.
Okay, well, I think our audience is
started
sophisticated enough that we don't need to refer them as civilians.
First in
yeah, pretty good.
Second in turn.
Yeah.
Mahomes. Look at that, 14 touchdowns to 1 turnover.
And really, that 1 turnover was also a touchdown. It was for the Jags, but still.
Great point.
Yeah.
The yards. All right, are the Chiefs officially back?
I mean, we scored 31, had 30 first downs, and the Raiders ran 30 plays.
Yeah,
They were taking knees on the plus side of the 2-minute warning, which I've never seen. Mahomes in a baseball cap in the 3rd quarter. And if you check your local favorite sports book, be it DraftKings or whomever, you know what you'll see? Favorites in everything. Drop the first banner.
Are they really?
Yeah. Favorites for the AFC West, for the AFC, for the Super Bowl, and have league MVP. And we didn't put it on there. We ran out of space. Favorite for Super Bowl MVP. Everything you be a favorite in, they're a favorite in. And I mean, Wilds, you did kind of steal a little bit of my thunder, but who could have seen this coming? And the answer is anyone that saw the tackle that turned the tide. because pre and post.
Sorry. Yeah, this is totally different.
Pre and post halftime of the Giants game, that Giants game which might have been Mahomes' worst half of the season. The two passes that were backwards, one of which led to, of course, the tackle that turned the tide.
It's almost like it was a good play, though, when you look back on it.
Exactly right.
Tackle that turned the tide.
And what about the Chiefs as a whole, their team, since the tackle that turned the tide?
Okay, there.
Tackle that
I want to see the T.
Yeah,
like
the tackle that turned the tide.
16.
They've scored 28 or more in every single game, despite taking their foot off the gas in 2 of the games. The Ravens game, they stopped in the third quarter. This game, they stopped in the third quarter. They lead the league in yards per game. What about Patrick since the tackle that turned the tide? That's pretty good. Not first in those categories, but he actually was, well, for the course of the season, we can show you he's first or second in almost everything. Yeah, he's got the second most yards thanks to Justin Herbert's garbage time yesterday, the most total touchdowns, and shout out Bake Show, who still just has the 1 turnover, so he is first in touchdown to turnover ratio. And here's the other way they're officially back, Brew. Yeah, that's for the whole season. That's why you don't see the 16s. You don't see the sextuple T. Still pretty good. Well, that's P and P.
BT, before tackle.
No, and post. It's pre and post.
Oh,
the whole season.
Yeah.
Exactly. And here's the other thing, Brew. They're back to being the Chiefs with the chicanery.
See, this is
with
what
the
I like.
fun
See,
stuff.
I'm a vibes guy.
And Brew, as the actor on the show, I know the grade is typically reserved for the Cowboys, but let's play the Mahomes performance and see what Brew grades it as an actor. Here's the Chiefs. Well, just play it.
Just love it.
On 4th and a foot. Tried to draw him offside. Sorry. Mahomes says, Coach, it doesn't
there they go.
work. He was faking it.
There they go.
Got you.
You would give it up on that one.
I mean, Brew, before you give a grade, that does deserve another banner. Pat Tricks. This always bleeping works. Come on. Pretty good.
Who came up with it?
Hubs. Hubs is pretty good. Pat Tricks. That's pretty good.
That is excellent.
I mean, and that's the Chiefs back to be from the team that they were playing when they did the ring around the Rosie. That is now back. So go ahead.
No, but look, R-rated stuff for sure. R-rated movies he's in. But it was good. It was excellent. He totally fooled Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Totally. So that was great. That was
But go ahead, Brew. I think they're officially back.
Well, look, you don't beat up on Geno Smith and Ashton Genty like that if you're not back. Because all I heard all off season, all preseason was how Geno was all that.
Pete Carroll.
And Ashton Genty was about to go Saquon Barkley on the league. So, I mean.
He kind of is going Saquon Barkley on the league.
This year, Saquon, right. No, they are definitely back. There is no question about it. And it's a bit bittersweet for me.
Why?
Well, everybody knows I am a Mahomes guy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Sports Illustrated. I was the first to really recognize the full scope of his greatness. According to Sports Illustrated. I didn't say that.
Is it?
Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated. First person to call him Jordanette.
And the best ever, right?
Again,
Greatest ever, wasn't that Sports Illustrated?
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to have to get the clip.
I've never seen the clip.
So that, I wanted that.
Yeah.
Also, I have been dying, you guys know this, for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
For the light show. When you're the best quarterback ever, I want to see you put on a show.
Great.
And so that's what he's doing. The reason it's bittersweet, and we've been talking all year about how there's no great teams. Like, who's great? In both conferences. They look great right now.
Yeah.
Who else looks great? Like, I want a little drama. I don't see any. It's early. Yeah, but they're the Colts and they're Daniel Jones.
Great.
I'm just saying, until they prove it, we're not going to really believe in them.
Tampa looks great. And Philly, we'll see. Philly this weekend proves some things.
Philly, we know, can beat the Chiefs if they can. They get
but the AFC, no one looks great
right now,
except for a team people
unless
don't believe
Lamar and Ravens find their mojo. The Bills don't look like. no one right now looks like they can challenge the Chiefs in the AFC. Yeah. And so that's why it's bittersweet. And here's the thing, Nick. It's early. Obviously, it's only week, 7? You could even say, in this sense, they're beyond back. Because right now, in total offense, they are top 5. In total defense, they are top 5. What we've typically seen
is one or the other.
Yeah, early on in Mahomes' career, it was the offense was great, the defense is okay, solid. Then it became the defense is great, the offense is solid, okay, situational. Now they look great on both sides of the ball. And I don't care that the Raiders aren't very good. To do what they did to them, 3 first downs, no points, that's impressive. So they really look good on both sides of the ball, and that's why I'm worried. Buffalo's defense is not good. Obviously, the Ravens' defense. Indy has looked good, but they have no track.
It's hard to believe in Indy.
So we have to see.
I agree. I don't want to be the Chiefs hater.
Well,
there's nothing to hate, is there? Right now,
there's nothing to hate. I agree with you guys. I'm not going to be the Chiefs hater. I'm beloved in Kansas City. I think should we pump the brakes a smidgen? Perhaps. Just a smidgen.
Go ahead.
That's it. I'm just saying that.
Okay, you know that.
Listen, I'm happy Rashee Rice is back, and he came back,
and looked great.
Yes, full speed ahead. It was 10 targets, 7 receptions, 42 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. I thought that was very, very good. I was worried that it was going to be a little rusty or it was going to be used, but it felt like let's make a point of getting this guy.
No, and KW, you don't have to worry. Just so you know, I want you to stay true to your heart always. You don't have to worry that if you were to question the Chiefs, you would be like a man on an island. Because, and I would like a moment for this here before we move on, is there any post-game meetings, after-action reports, self-scouting from other shows and other media about the hyperventilating after 2 weeks? About the 7 straight AFC championship games, 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls, won 3 of the last 6 Super Bowls and been to 3 straight. That team having a tough couple weeks, and I picked 9 different publications.
I mean, to be fair, they didn't know the tackle turned to
because here is what was being said. This isn't a straw man. The slow, boring erosion of the Chiefs dynasty, less than a month ago on The Ringer. Is the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty already over? Less than a month ago on The Sporting News. The Chiefs are finally winners, but look even less like contenders from our friends at Fox Sports. And by the way, it have to be fair, and by the way, that was post-tackle that turned the tide.
That's post-tackle that turned the tide?
Yeah, that was after the Giants game. The Chiefs' historic collapse, how the NFL's gold standard fell apart from CBS. We can keep going, please. What is that one? Talk Sport. That's across the pond. Mahomes isn't top 5 and could bring the Chiefs dynasty down with him. That was 3 weeks ago. This one is The Athletic. The Chargers, remember that was cute for a few days, have a plan to take over the AFC West. Sports Illustrated. Chargers put AFC West in a chokehold from the NFL. That's the league. Chiefs in danger zone with impotent offense. And then a collection on ESPN that includes KC anything but dominant. If the Chiefs try to score 30, it would take 8 games. The Ravens are a better football team, and Detroit is built to punish the Chiefs. To which I say, because every single one of those publications, all of those media folks today are having the same conversation as us, which is Chiefs are back. It's one of my favorite memes, KW. Chiefs dynasty over? No. Tackle that turned the tide. That's what it is, buddy. You're going to have to zoom in on that one.
Who broke this one out?
I'm just telling you.
Isn't there a statute of limitations on this
media?
I don't think
that's what it is. Dynasty over? Oh, the tackle that turned the tide. It switched it all, guys. It's so great. We're so bad.
Some of those headlines are pretty crazy.
They're a month ago.
They were 0-2.
Oh, God forbid.
I mean, still.
0-2. God forbid.
How could you write them off? Mahomes is how old?
30.
He's 30.
He was 29 when they were 0-2.
I mean, what we
up there?
No,
Eagles.
we did not.
I didn't want to pick on you.
Did you say that?
You're 0-2 and you had
did.
a lack. 0-3 actually. You count the Eagles.
Thank
game.
God for the tackle that turned the tide.
Speaking of, no one knew the tackle that turned the tide was going to happen. Head up to Minnesota. Jalen Hurts was Mr. Perfect, first QB this year to post a perfect passer rating. 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, while his 2 top receivers diced up this vaunted Vikings defense I was a little afraid of. Philly stops the funk. Here's Jalen.
You don't have a game like that without the guys around you. You know, so I give a lot of credit to them. Give a lot of credit to the collective of everyone hanging in there and enduring the game. It's just a matter of trying to find ways to get it done. It's not a time to hope. It's not a time to want or wish something can happen. It's the time to make it happen, and I think that was a collective thing by everybody.
Hurts' deep passes this season, the first 6 games, is 10 for 26, 60 yards per game, my goodness, on deep passes. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Then yesterday he goes 5 for 5, 215, 3 touchdowns.
Against a team that wasn't allowing him at all.
Only 3 all year. That was kind of off the board. I didn't even think that was going to be in the game plan, but it was in a major way. What did Jalen Hurts prove, bro?
Well, last week when we got wind that in the locker room, at least one player was thinking, hey, we're on the verge of the supernatural funk, as we call it here. I was like, look, one of their leaders needs to step up. Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley. Somebody has to step up and calm this down. Jalen Hurts did it.
Yep.
That's what he did. I don't know what he said to the locker room, if he did it with his words, but with his actions, he did it. And what he proved is, yet again, he is a gamer. He is a gamer. Since the supernatural funk, every time he's been questioned, A.J. Brown questions the passing game, which is questioning him. He goes out and throws for 290 and a couple touchdowns against Pittsburgh. All right. The Super Bowl. Oh, they're not going to beat the Chiefs. Who's going to beat the Chiefs? He goes out 4 touchdowns, Super Bowl MVP. And then yesterday, the supernatural funk, we're on the verge of that. He goes out and throws for 300 yards. I know you showed it last week, Nick. For the first time in eons.
28 games.
Okay, 28, right. Basically 2 years. And so whatever it takes, and what I liked about yesterday is the way he did it. We've said they're not throwing a lot of intermediate stuff with him. That's not been his strength. But yesterday, they had some intermediate stuff. Obviously, the deep balls. He threw stuff inside the numbers, not just outside to A.J. Brown. He was fantastic. And so, to me, that's what he proved. Don't question. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. I don't even have them going there. But don't question whether or not Jalen Hurts can win, whether or not he can throw the football, whether or not he can run, because he gets it done, whatever they need him to do to get a W. So I thought, like I said, he proved he's a gamer.
So this was the graphic that I showed last week that Eagles fans so mad at me because I'll be totally honest, I blame Gianna. Gianna picks which parts of my long statement she's going to caption and put out there, and she picked a very clickbait one there to drive engagement. I do not think last week my stance was he can't do this. I think what we were saying last week is it's very obvious what the Eagles need to do to pull out of this tailspin. Have their Super Bowl MVP quarterback deliver. And you made the point with any of the other great quarterbacks, that would be the expectation. Is hey, he's going to have a great game. And the point I was making is it had been a long time since he had a great game purely through the air.
Right.
And then he had, in my opinion, if you remove the added, points you get for it being a playoff game or in the Super Bowl, if all games are graded equally, I think that's the best game he's ever played.
Certainly the best regular season game.
Yes, and I think he actually played better in this game than he played in either Super Bowl. The stakes are so different that you can't really say that, which bolsters, I had the exact same mindset as you, Brew. It bolsters his big game quarterback rep because this wasn't a playoff game, I get that. But they were on the verge, we thought, of a spiral, of a 3-game losing streak, of there being real panic. And he started the game, KW, with a 4th and 4 to score a touchdown, and then ended the game that it shouldn't have been that close, given it was weird that Minnesota was in it, given Wentz's mistakes and how well he was throwing it. But it was a 6-point game, and it's 3rd and 9, and he once again hits a bomb to ice the game. So I thought his 4th and 4 set the table, and then both to A.J. Brown, by the way, and then this 3rd and 9 ends the game. So I thought it was the best I've ever seen him play if you remove the stakes. And KW, he doesn't have to have perfect pass rating moving forward. It's what they're going to need from him moving forward.
From Saquon?
Because I don't think I think the Saquon we've gotten is the Saquon we're getting this year.
I'll give it one more week.
I mean,
I'll give it one more.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
It's home against the
Giants.
Giants.
I would imagine he's going to have a big game at some point. So if he might have it next week.
I'm not ready to close the door yet.
I guess my point is, I am not saying he's not going to have a single great game all year.
Right.
But I think that level of performance is about it's what he averaged over the first 7, right? And it's about what I think he's going to average over the next 7, which is why this is what they are going to need from Jalen. And credit to him, man.
Well,
I mean, he stepped up again.
They only threw it 23 times.
Correct.
It wasn't like, he threw it 35 times. So that's kind of what they've been doing. They just threw it differently.
A.J. Brown had 121. Devontae had 183.
Oof. No, they were.
Let's head to Denver, where depending on your POV, this was either a historic comeback or a historic collapse. 33 points in the fourth quarter, either scored or given up. Broncos moved to 5-2. Giants now 2-2 with Jackson Dart. Here's Dayball postgame.
Tough loss. Put their heart and soul into it. So, not a lot of talking that needs to be done when you lose a game like that. Everybody gave everything they had.
Brew, what was the story here for you? The collapse or the comeback?
It's not even close. The collapse.
Okay.
Period. I memean, credit Denver for being resilient, hanging in there, but this was about you don't come back from a 19-point deficit to start the fourth quarter or what was it,
18 with 6 minutes left.
Yeah, and win the game if the other team doesn't collapse. And first of all, the things that happened, the interception by Dart that late in the game. He's a rookie. He had made some really big plays. You can forgive this, but it's still a terrible play. Yeah. All right. They can't win that game if he doesn't throw that. All right. So that was bad. Then, Nick, you throw in the 2 missed extra points. 2 missed extra points. One of them you tie the game. Both of them, which you usually count on, you win that game. And then with 33 seconds left, I think we have the video. When they rush 3 guys, all right, and give Bo Nix all the time in the world. You get it that your defensive backfield isn't that strong, so you got 8 guys back. But you still, there's 5 Giants around him. He still is able to complete that pass when you got 8 guys in the backfield.
And by the way, it's such bad defense. He was able to complete a pass not to the guy he was throwing it to.
Right.
I think he's throwing it to the other guy.
Right.
And completed it.
I mean, I'm sorry. That is ridiculous. So, macro, this could cost Brian Daboll the job. We'll see how they respond. But have you looked at their schedule coming up? Let's see the schedule.
They have Philly, I know, next.
So they got Philly, San Francisco, which obviously playing well, Chicago, Green Bay, Detroit, the Patriots, Washington. I mean, other than Knicks Raiders at the bottom of the schedule, there's no easy games.
Yeah.
How many of those games are they going to win? We'll see. They have to bounce back mentally from this.
Let me just look at this real quick. They will not be favored in a game through the bye week, because they'll never be favored on the road, and their home games are San Francisco, Green Bay.
They're frisky though, man.
So they are. No, they are
probably
frisky.
Every win is a big win.
Listen.
But that's a heck of a schedule.
We'll talk more about the Broncos later for credit or otherwise. That is an unforgivable loss, and I do put the lion's share of that on the head coach. Because the play where Dart threw the pick, I just want to set the table. You are up 10. There is 5 minutes on the dot base, or just when it snapped 5 minutes left. And the most important part of that graphic, if we show it again, is there is only one hash mark beneath the Broncos logo. They've already used they're using their timeouts on this drive, which means if you simply run the ball there and they use their final timeout, which they will, they are now in an onside kick game. You're up 10, punting, and the other team has no timeouts left, which means your worst case scenario realistically is they drive down and score and then have to kick an onside kick. You don't lose that game. Once you're in an onside kick game, you're 98% to win it. The only way you're not in an onside kick game is by calling a pass play with your rookie quarterback and having that happen. You'd be better off taking knees. So that's the first thing that, to me, I put on Dable. Then, when it has flipped because of that, and now you do need a first down to ice the game, you have 2 give-up runs and then bomb it downfield when, again, a first down wins it. And then despite all of that, you actually have the lead. You take a 2-point lead late, and here's the deal. In most circumstances, up to 35 seconds left, do we want to go for 2 to make it so a field goal can't, they have to score a touchdown? Right. Normally, you would say, no, kick the extra point, preserve overtime. But when you are in the midst, if that game went to overtime, they were going to lose. They were in the midst of a collapse, and your kicker is a guy I've never heard of wearing number 99 who's already missed an extra point. In real time, Parkins is going to have to be my witness on this. I text him. They have to go for 2 if they score. That's not Monday morning quarterbacking. I'm not going to kill Dart for a rookie quarterback making rookie mistakes. I am going to be upset with the head coach who holds his quarterbacks to such a high standard and is so beside himself that Russell Wilson might have to throw a pass for him, that he's yelling at the team doctor for not recognizing my rookie quarterback could make a mistake. We have the game won. That's an awful loss, and that is, yes, I did have the Giants money line.
We got to get to the Cowboys grade, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Got a big show coming up. Cowboys put 44 on the scoreboard, but what did Brew put on the report card? Again, it is not obscene. It's just a grade. That's next on FS1 and the Fox Sports Channel on Sirius XM. It can just be the question mark, guys. It doesn't need to be pixelated.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the Dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
Hey, check out our podcast, the Drake Maya podcast. A lot of people are saying might not be the best, but way closer than you think. Also, the YouTube channel. Welcome back to the show. Greg Jennings is here, Super Bowl champion. Dak Prescott dealing another 3-touchdown game. CD caught one in his return. Javonte Williams, who Brew always admired privately.
Yo, yeah. The real talk. Y'all think I'm joking?
Right now, second in the league in rushing and third in the league in rushing are Javonte and Rico Dowdle. Your guy, 2 Brew staples.
He added 116, found the end zone on the ground. Here's George and CD. Take a listen.
Having him back and Turk and a few other guys, it make the offense explosive. So kind of like how he said, you got to be true to the offense. And when you got all of us out there, you can't guard all of us.
This one the best one I've been on, and I've been on some great ones. It's just the way that we can move around these pieces and these players, and everybody know everywhere to go. We can line up faster than any. It's tough. It's tough.
It's fun I've ever had.
I like that chemistry of the wide receivers. Brew, here's report card so far. We got a B, a C, a F, 2 A's, but then almost a failing grade last week against the Panthers. What is your grade this week for the Cowboys?
Well, there are different types of teachers. All right, some are just, we all have a bunch of fun and, everything is great. And I'm a hard-nosed teacher.
Yeah, everybody knows that.
So when I have to come down on you, if you're not doing the work, I come down on you. I might even throw out an insult here or there, like call you a tomato can.
But it makes you better in the end.
Yes. Tough love. I believe in it. And apparently so do the Cowboys. They're Exhibit A for the benefit of tough love. Look, Dak, 4th straight game, I don't know if y'all know this, threw at least 3 touchdowns with no interceptions. 4 straight games of that.
But
He's
one of those
great.
games got him a D.
Exactly, but it's
the team.
Yeah.
He's part of a team. He's not an individual.
Sorry.
All right. Secondly, his 2 receivers, we just saw CD and George Pickens. That is an awesome duo. Pickens, man, that dude is sweet. And so is obviously CD. They almost had 200 yards receiving.
Okay.
You mentioned Javonte runs for over 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
The defense actually held the Commanders to 20 points because 22 they gave up the safety. So the defense, I thought, I'm not saying it's murderer's row of defenders, but it definitely showed big time improvement. So Cowboys, way to take, your medicine last week when I gave you a D and come back and get an A.
Wow.
Excellent work by the Cowboys. Outstanding.
No singers for the A?
Just
not this time.
You never know. Okay.
It's still early in the school year.
Yeah, go.
Can I be a substitute teacher?
Adjunct professor.
There we go.
Oh, that's good.
I'll be that.
Teacher's assistant.
Whatever he just said.
See, I knew
No,
that.
I'm definitely not teacher's assistant. Here you go.
Yeah.
And I like to grade on the curve sometimes.
Oh, you're giving a grade out as
That's
well?
what he asked if you can be
I
an
thought we were just like in role plays.
Well, you can just make comments.
Go ahead. Right. Go ahead.
And I look at the Cowboys and I'm like, you know what? This is a team that I have to start grading on the curve. I don't look at their defense. I'm going to grade them based on their offense.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're not even bringing defense into consideration?
I'm not with the Cowboys. Obviously, if they get to the playoffs, they're going to have to play some sort of good defense. But what's going to allow them the opportunity to win?
The offense.
The offense.
This is the Bengals with me in a fight corollary.
You know what I mean? And so when I look at this offense, I watch that interview with CD and George and the chemistry and the appreciation for one another, and I see it translating to what they're able to do offensively. Oh, the running game is going. Dak, you mentioned playing the way he's playing. Like, this is why this team is being talked about. This is why they're getting the A from you. It's not because of the defense. This is what's going to allow this team to remain competitive week in and week out. They got to score points. Those two have to be a driving force, and they got to have some semblance of a running game. They have all of that. Dak is playing great ball. I give them an A as well.
All right.
Well, I'll give them an A. I'll give them an A too. If we're just doing great.
Well, that was
just I wasn't prepared to give them a grade. I'm sorry. I will show the Cowboys offense statistics. Points third, yards first, 390 a game.
Yeah,
it's just nuts.
Wonders who's 2-1 in points.
Okay, well, Colts as well.
I snuck the Colts into the A block. Yards per game, 268, 16 passing touchdown. And now that CD is back, we thought Rashee Rice is going to make a big impact. Now that CD and George Pickens are on the field together, they're out here cooking. I think the big question is, outside of the grade, because I think we're all going to give the offense an A, is like, are you ready to start believing in the team? I thought the defense was showed a pulse.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You don't think they even showed a pulse?
Well, I think you can be DOA and have toe tag on, and Marcus Mariota comes into the game, and the doctor's like, I think we can save him. And so, I do think that I'm not sure how much of that is the Cowboys having a pulse defensively, but my feeling on them is unmoved but complimentary. The compliment is Dak is playing the best ball of his life. Mm-hmm. And his numbers are, if record wasn't a factor and you looked at his numbers, which I think we can show you, his numbers are MVP caliber.
He would be.
And and I think about the team, they can beat anyone. There is not a team, when you have that level of offense,
correct,
in any given week, you can beat anyone. I think as evidenced by the Packer game. I know they didn't win that game, but and they can lose to anyone because the defense at any given week is liable to let Bryce Young score 30.
Right.
And so it doesn't, don't worry about the Commanders right now. We'll get to the Commanders stuff later. But I do not think the Cowboys are anything close to a viable contender, particularly in an NFC where right now the Lions are in 7th place. Like, that's how stacked the NFC is record-wise right now. But I do think seeing them on your schedule sucks.
Yeah.
Because they can score 40 as easily as any team in the league, and I think they are proving that consistently. And I have to be fair to guys when I've been very skeptical or critical of them. I have never been a George Pickens guy. I've been on the record repeatedly saying I don't think players like that contribute to winning, and I thought the antics were a net negative. He's been awesome, he's been the most productive he's been while being the least pain in the butt that he's been throughout his career. So for the first 7 games, that was a great trade for Dallas. I still feel like had they not traded away Micah Parsons, we'd be talking about this team as a real contender. But in the meantime, that offense is as good as any offense in football.
All right, let's check in on former Cowboy Micah Parsons. He had one of the most productive games of his career. 3 sacks, 5 QB hits. Packers squeaked past the consistently not good enough Cardinals.
Yeah, they just keep losing these heartbreakers.
They're the Cardinals.
Some people haven't gone to the Super Bowl not that long ago.
Years ago. Brew, did this game make you more confident in the Packers?
More confident. More confident?
Okay, here we go.
I'm not more confident. I'm less confident. I'm less confident.
What was that?
I'm less confident in my Packers.
Okay.
I mean, this is the 4th. Look, I'll take the win.
Yeah.
They are stacking wins, all right? That matters.
Yes.
4-1-1. They lead their division, which we know is a tough division. But this is the 4th straight week where I don't think they've looked great. They looked great the first 2 weeks of the season, Green Bay, Washington. They haven't really looked that good since then. Now, it's early, and I have full faith that they can get to a point where they look great because the defense, Micah was great yesterday, 3 sacks. They had 6 sacks total. And Jordan Love, J-Lo, was okay. I mean, he wasn't, he didn't do anything spectacular. I love this. On 4th and 2, with about 2.5 minutes left. Like, I think that's a gutsy throw because a lot of times you might just go for a little 4 or 5 yard pass. That's a 15-yard pass on the sidelines. Guys got to put his feet down. So that I was impressed by that. But I want to see more from J-Lo. Greg and I were talking earlier. Whenever Jaden Reed gets back, Christian Watson comes back, that's bolstering the receiving core. I was impressed with Josh Jacobs' hard running. Didn't get a lot of yards per attempt, but ran the ball hard, scored some touchdowns. So I still feel very good about them because it's early, but they haven't played great in a month.
Just real quick, and I'll give it to Greg. I literally wrote down, the 4th down worked, so I'm sure Brew loved it. Like the 4th down. The play. I thought just his throw. Jordan Love's play on it was excellent. Yeah. I do feel like if that doesn't work, you're very mad at Matt LaFleur. I happen to think that is a spot way more coaches should go for it because down 3 with 2.5 minutes left, if you kick a field goal, what you're saying is, we just hope to get to overtime.
Sure. Right. Yeah.
As opposed to going for it, you can drain more clock like they did and take the lead. So
Is that the play where J-Lo said?
Yes. They called out the field goal unit. They called timeout and then they went for it. So I thought that was great. And listen, I think Micah's been better than his sack numbers up to this game. His pressure numbers have been crazy.
Right. Yeah.
He was the best player on the field in this game by a wide margin. And it was pretty remarkable to me that Brissett had as productive of a game as he did statistically, given what Micah was doing. But I'm kind of with Brew, Greg, in that I have been pretty nonplussed by the offense. And because of that, I'm not more confident in the Packers.
Yes, I'm with you guys. Everything offensively looks hard-earned. Yeah. It looks like it's just challenging. And they're having to grind out points and even just to move the ball at times. Mm-hmm. And to your point, we talked about this. I truly believe it has a lot to do with the fact that Jaden Reed is not in this offense, and he's led this offense in receiving yards the last 2 years. And I think we overlooked that. but we highlight it with other teams like the Chiefs or like you mentioned earlier with CeeDee Lamb with the Cowboys. It's important when you have that type of chemistry with a quarterback, which Jaden has with Jordan, and the dynamic changes offensively. I think we oversight that because we have an expectation of Jordan Love to be better. But defensively is where I'm starting to scratch my head a little bit, because offensively I don't mind the struggles. Defensively, it's when you add a player like Micah and the way they came out to start the season in the first couple weeks, it was like, I don't know if they're going to give up a lot of points at all for the course of the season. Now it's not only are they giving up points, but they can't get off the field. So you're just compounding issues, and if this continues to happen, your offense stalls at times.
No, that's fair.
You're going to – I'm confident because they know how to win, and they have been able to win. Am I more confident? I'm not more confident. Wow. But when Jaden gets back, which he will later in the season.
The defense should be more domaminant than Micah was great, but letting the Cardinals with Jacoby move up and down the field.
The ball.
That's what's making me scratch my head. They're
not a scary team.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
Colts cruising against what used to be an excellent Chargers defense, 38-24. Indy is 6-1. Here's Daniel Jones talking about everybody not named Greg Jennings. Take a listen.
Not that you care, but those of us on the outside, I think, are a little surprised at just how well this team is playing to start the season. What do we need to know about this group that maybe we didn't know going into the year?
I mean, I don't know. Sounds like y'all didn't know much, but we're just going to keep going, keep working, and we have a lot of confidence. I think we got a lot of good players, guys who work hard and do the right things.
It's time for a special edition of Hold On, What? Most points per drive this century. The 07 Patriots were unstoppable, basically undefeated. The 18 Chiefs also, they were defeated, but they were Super Bowl champions and excellent.
They were actually not Super Bowl champions. They lost to the Patriots in the AFC title game.
Sorry, they lost to the Patriots AFC championship.
But yes. And 3.46, that's a lot.
It's not close.
I understand it looks like it's close because it's decimals. That is a huge difference.
So
they're more than 10% better than the 07 Pats, who were the greatest offense of all time.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Greg, you called it.
Man, this is it. Look, this team has been impressive, and obviously, I think the question is, are they legit Super Bowl contenders? And yes, they are. And I know I've always been a Daniel Jones guy, but this is not just about Daniel Jones. They just are a really good team, top to bottom, coaching staff included. They are a well-constructed team, and when you watch them play, you understand what makes them so good. They know who they are, and they can beat you in a multitude of ways offensively. They're going to run the ball. They have the best running back right now in the game in Jonathan Taylor. Obviously, they have receivers. They have weapons. You got a young tight end playing at rookie that is looking like one of the best rookie if Mekabuka didn't get hurt, maybe like rookie of the year right now. And you have weapons, and Daniel Jones getting protection. And I'm just talking about the offense because that's seemingly what's continuously in the last few years held this team back. And he's playing a position that they have not been able to identify the player to insert to get them to this performance, this level of play. And he's been great. He's been absolutely awesome. This team is definitely a Super Bowl contending team right now as it stands. We'll see how the season continues to progress. But right now, you got to give them credit.
No, look, to your point, I think they're 8-7 with Anthony Richardson starting, and we know he was not playing the position very well. And you looked at the roster, and it was like, if they just have decent quarterback play, they could be good. And obviously, Jones is giving them more than that. The offense is baffling to me. Now, Jonathan Taylor, we know how good he is.
And show his numbers while Bruce talking.
Yeah, I mean,
the Taylor numbers have been. He's been
averaging
great.
basically 100 yards a game.
Yep.
Only one close to that.
10 rushing touchdowns.
The receivers, you're right. The tight end is playing lights out. Michael Pittman, obviously they got some good receivers, but not huge names. For
Their
them to be putting up the numbers,
Green Bay's.
a
bunch of good receivers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for them to be putting up the numbers they are with Daniel Jones, who is obviously playing well, but kind of has come out of nowhere, so to speak. And it's not like he's thrown 15 touchdowns, So their offense, the way they're scoring so many points is just incredible. Look, right now, and I said this earlier, Greg, right now it looks like the Chiefs are on a level that nobody else in the AFC is on. As far as considering everybody but the Chiefs, I think the Colts are right there with anybody. So I would say, I would not pick them to beat the Chiefs in the playoff game, but when I compare them to the Patriots, to the Bills, to if the Ravens ever, I see them being right there with anybody else.
Greg, can I pitch you on something that you can pitch to Nick better than I can? Defensive coordinator for the Colts, Lou Anarumo, excuse me. Former Bengals DC who stymied Patrick Mahomes. So knowing this, would you feel confident in a Colts-Chiefs matchup?
You already know we talked about
All right.
We talked off camera about this.
That is, I will say, I don't love that Lou Anarumo is their D coordinator. However, whatever nerves that are caused in me thinking about that in the playoffs are settled by thinking of the dream scenario of it, the path to the 4th straight Super Bowl going through Daniel Jones.
Hold
on. Can I go just real quick, please? This team every week reminds me more and more of last year's Vikings. In place of Justin Jefferson is Jonathan Taylor. In place of Sam Darnold is Daniel Jones. In place of Kevin O'Connell is Shane Steichen. What they don't have to deal with is a Detroit in their own division, preventing them from potentially being the 1 seed.
Right.
And in the Mahomes era, this is a weird nothing stat, but it is the truth. The Chiefs have been the 1 seed every other year. 18, 20, 22, and 24 is when they've been the 1 seed. The years they haven't, Baltimore got it twice, and then a weird year, the Titans got it once. Out of the AFC South, again with a quarterback you didn't really believe in Tannehill. I don't look at them as, I do not think they can beat Kansas City in a AFC Championship game. I also think that they could be picked off in their first playoff game. With that said,
so can anybody else, but continue.
Well, yeah, let me rephrase it. To me, they are more likely to be picked off in their first playoff game than Buffalo, even though they have been better than Buffalo this year. Just because I just think there is a structural advantage to how good your quarterback is and how often he's been there. So I just don't look at them as true contenders.
Are we headed towards a Super Bowl rematch? Eagles-Chiefs, or maybe Eagles-Colts would be totally different.
Yeah.
That's next.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Live from New York, it's a show that spent 4 minutes talking about Week 12, Colts in Kansas City.
Flex alert.
Daniel Jones.
I'm telling you.
Granted, I'm winning with Mac Jones 4-1 with the 49ers. But Daniel Jones, the stock in Daniel, if you got into Daniel Jones early, whoop.
No, I got to tell you, the
Greg
Daniel
is like
Jones,
the only person
Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, all that stuff. You know who it's Mac Jones a little bit. You know who it's really good for?
Zach Wilson. Not the Prince.
You know what?
The Prince. The Prince needs to go to another team. The Prince was rough.
I was thinking the other day, is Zach Wilson going to make a run?
No.
Because we've seen the
Zach
Jets. things go
but the
awry when
trajectory
you're
for
with
Zach
the Jets.
Wilson's closer to Josh Rosen than these other guys.
It is, but I'm just saying, like all these Jets,
We used to do
Jets
signature segments.
Robert Saleh looking great again.
Amazing.
I mean, come on.
Second hour, first things first. Today, hold your horses. Are the Cowboys real threats in the NFC with that offense? Meanwhile, World Series berth on the line. George Kirby and the Mariners trying to stop the Blue Jays. Coverage at 7 on Fox and FS1. We'll make our predictions. And if whoever loses has to buy your lunch matchup.
Okay.
Right?
Whatever you want. But
Is that all of us? Or
yes,
just you
if the
and me?
Mariners win, fish for everybody. Speaking of, we've reached the playing with their food territory for the Chiefs.
The Blue Jays.
No-look passes, fake calls at the line. Raiders get shut down and shut out. Here's Rashee Rice. Take a listen.
I think it's a glimpse of what's possible and what's to come. This was our first game being able to play with each other. Like you said, Coach said I had a minimum amount of plays, so maybe with more plays, more touchdowns, not even just from me, but from everybody else, from just being on the field consistently.
What did the Chiefs prove in their blowout W?
A lot, but I'm going to focus on 2 things.
Oh, good.
And one of them, I told Brew a half hour ago.
Yeah.
I'm going to show him a stat that is going to change how he views something entirely.
Wow.
Because the
for the
first
rest of
thing,
my life, he said.
Oh my
for the rest of your life, for the rest of Brew's life, he will look askance at every Pro Football Focus grade. Because one of the things they proved is our friends at Pro Football Focus, cannot be trusted to grade quarterbacks.
They're having a rough go of it.
Here is the grade from yesterday's game. I've included the stats and then Geno's passing grade, a 67, versus Mahomes' passing grade of a 62. The brilliant data scientists at Pro Football Focus who have such a monopoly on our numbers matter that in the marquee game of the week, Sunday Night Football, when guys are telling us what high school they went to, we see where they rank in the PFF grading system, said, throwing the football yesterday, Geno Smith outperformed Patrick Mahomes. So the first thing they proved is we might need to, listen, I'm not in charge, and I love Chris Collinsworth. If I were him, I would call an all-hands meeting and say, fellas, we've got to shut everything down and rework the algo.
Shut it down. It's like
shut it all down until we can figure out a grading system that doesn't say the guy on the left outperformed the guy on the right.
I know you got a lot to say, but can you explain it? Like what?
No.
What is the explanation for this?
The explanation is it's inexplicable.
Yeah.
I mean, the explanation is it's inexplicable. So that's the first thing they proved.
That is inexplicable.
The second thing they proved is more near and dear to my heart. Just tackle the turn the tide changed everything.
Oh, yeah, tackle the turn the tide. More tackle.
And everybody knows it. And Greg can be as annoyed as he wants. Because last time I saw Greg, he was sitting next to me saying how the Chiefs were going to be able to deal with the Lions. And since then, all they've done is played 2 more games, T, and showed everyone that, is that too many T's?
Oh, I think
no, that was 6. That was 6. Thank you. I mean, Mahomes, passer rating over his last 32 games. Once in 28, above 124, 3 out of 4 since then. Mahomes, 3 touchdown games. We had to lower it from 4 touchdown games because he sat the fourth quarter. 4 out of 28 versus 3 out of 4. The Chiefs scoring 30 plus. 3 out of 28 versus 3 out of 4. And of course, Kansas City in its last 4 games, it's been the only team in the league to score 28 every week and the only team in the league or the most yards per game. This is all post-tackle that turned the tide. So what they proved was PFF can't be trusted, Greg, and tackle that turned the tide probably made them the best team in the league again.
Yeah, it's been impressive to watch the Chiefs. Look, man, I'll say when I'm wrong. I have no problem. I was right Monday night when they faced the Jags and picking the Jags, and then I was wrong against the Detroit Lions. They beat them. What I see in this Chiefs team is, I mean, clearly they're scary. Like, they're scary, but
you wanted to say something about Rashee Rice.
I did, but that's something separate. But this team, defensively and offensively, I'm trying to remember a time when I've seen them play as locked in and complementary. Like, it's either one has been really good
Yeah.
and the other has been lagging behind, or literally the other has been really good or lagging behind.
I think the first year without Tyreek was the closest. The first year without Tyreek, when Mahomes won MVP and the defense was up to that point the best defense they'd had. So that was
like
all
this.
year.
They're top 5 both in total defense and total offense.
Well, they've been so good post-tackle to turn the tide that all your stats are up.
Oh, that's great.
Makes
so
sense.
It includes before tackle to turn the tide.
Yeah.
So for me, when I look at this team, obviously, I mean, they're playing the best right now in the game, and clearly they're the champs for a reason. Well, not the recent champs, but the AFC champs.
Spiritually,
the AFC champs for the reason, and they're showing, man, it's going to be hard for anybody else to dethrone us as AFC champs right now.
I'm still shaken by that PFF.
I knew Brew was going to.
I'm a big PFF
I know
guy.
he is. I told you. Brew loves citing PFF like for offense. Maybe they're good at other stuff, man, and I like them.
I think they're good at like offensive linemen that you're not paying attention to.
Here's the problem.
I look at their offensive line rankings and read all that quite a bit.
Yeah, because we're like, they must know. But now I'm looking at everything.
The best thing for them to do is just be like, this was wrong. It clearly was a glitch.
But go ahead.
I haven't felt this way since Tyson lost to Buster Dones. Shocked enough. The light show is back. The light show is back, and Nick showed a lot of the stats. But Mahomes, you'll like this.
Okay.
Last 3 games, each game over 70% completion.
Love it.
There you go. Last 4 games, each time over 250-plus yards. And most of them have been well over 250 yards. But the it's funny because I think a few weeks ago we were like, just give them a decent receiving core when guys get back. The receiving core looks great. And I know they don't have a CD Lamb or Jamar Chase or somebody like that. But it looks great. It looks like what could be better because you got the deep threats in Worthy and Tyquan Thornton. And I think that was good for Tyquan that Xavier was out because it allowed him to kind of get established. Then you got the underneath guys. Look how much more has opened up for Kelsey when you got Xavier back and Hollywood and Juju, who I know is going to see less time, but still. And then Rasheed is great in yards after the catch. So you have every form of receiver you would need, and then the best quarterback in the league throwing it to him. So, look, the light show is back. It's going to be interesting to watch them over just the next couple of weeks, because I want to see if this does just continue unabated, or do they still go through some ups and downs?
Just real quick, the short version of what you thought of how they used Rasheed yesterday.
I just thought for a guy who obviously what he had going on off the field and to miss those 6 games.
And the 15 at the end of last year.
Correct.
The injury.
With the way that they embraced him and brought him back and was so intentional to make him feel a part of included and inclusive, dude, we need you. We need you to be who you were when you were healthy. It speaks volumes to that organization, to Andy Reid, to Patrick Mahomes, and just their leadership. To have a guy go through what all he's been going through and to come out there and really hang their hat on, this is our guy. Yeah. This is a guy that's going to take us over the hump. It's just impressive for them to put that amount of value in what he can provide them offensively. And he's going to deliver. I tell you that.
It's not the bombshell of the PFF grading system, but that's the first shutout win of Andy Reid's career.
It's the first time they've shut out, and it's the first time the Chiefs in the regular season. And it's the first time the Chiefs have shut out a opponent in the regular season since 2011 against the Raiders. It's also the 8th time Mahomes has ever won a game by 28 or more. 5 of those 8 against the Raiders.
Really?
He doesn't like the
Raiders. He don't like the Raiders.
Sorry, it's 5 of the 8 against the Raiders.
And I thought they had found the blueprint.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Head up to Minnesota. Minnesota's defense has played 5 quarterbacks. No one threw for more than 210 yards or 2 TDs. Jalen Hurts, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns. Eagles 5-2. Here's a scene from the locker room. Take a listen.
As you go throughout the season, the questions of identity come up in the beginning of the season. Everyone wants to know what a team is. How do they do it? How do they win? And as the season goes on, no one cares about identity. They just care about winning games. And so we're still trying to build. We're still trying to figure things out. Ultimately, when we're in a position to play for the things that we desire to in this organization, it'll be about finding ways to win, and no one will care how it looks.
I think that's an insightful quote there. Yesterday's identity was aerial attack. A.J. Brown, 4 catches for 121, 2 touchdowns. Devontae, 9 catches, 183 yards, 1 touchdown. What did Jalen Hurts prove to you, bro?
Well, I mean, look, the dude's a gamer, and I think the question is, do they lean more into this, than they've been using him before? Go ahead, I'm just reading the graph. I'm just reading the bottom of the screen. Screw that up. But I'm going to say no in that the 2 losses they just had, he averaged 35 passes a game, and coach is big on that stat. Yeah. When he throws over 30 times, they tend to lose, or 500 or whatever. He only threw it 23 times yesterday. To me, it's how he throws it. And Nick, you were showing graphics early in the season. I think we have the graphic from their first game against the Cowboys. It's their pass chart.
You
were showing the pass
scatter
charts.
plot.
So this is from the first game against Dallas. Now, he ran for 2 touchdowns and had but look at that,
and
right?
It's all
around.
Down the field.
1 bomb and then everything else right around the line of scrimmage. Look at yesterday's pass chart. Obviously, you had the 5 deep balls, but it's more intermediate stuff. It's more spread out. It's some stuff in the middle of the field, not just on the outside of the numbers, but inside. So I just think if you vary it with him, that's what I want to see do. And I do have to say this, because, Nick, you've pointed out, without Saquon rushing for a lot of yards, they're going to have to throw it more. Jalen is not running as much either. His first 4 games this year, he had 3 games over 40 yards, 2 of them over 60 yards rushing. I think he had 4 rushing touchdowns. The last 3 games, he's had 6 rushing yards total, and 1 touchdown rushing, probably was a tush push or something like that. But I said that Cowboys game, when we were up here the next day, I said the hits he took, I thought he took some shots, and I was like, I don't think he's going to be able to run like this throughout the season. Mm-hmm. And that was probably a big part of the supernatural funk. He had the knee. Yep. Knee was bothering him. And I don't think he can run like he used to. I'm not saying that as an insult, but I just think he takes some shots. And he's not Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or somebody like that. And so I actually think him not being able to run is also hurting their running game. Not just in yards, but I think not the defense not worrying about him running.
Keeping it on RPOs.
Yeah, right. They are not doing as many RPOs, so I think that has made it tougher on Saquon as well. Again, I don't want him throwing 35 times a game, but that is something they're going to have to figure out how they can be as effective without him running the football as much.
Yes, they're going to have to lean more into their passing game. And they have to because of what they're not getting out of their running game this year. Last year, it would have been foolish for us to say, yes, throw the ball more when you're running at such a high clip and you're averaging the amount of yards they were averaging.
Saquon's numbers
last year. But to your point, when you look at that pass chart, it's not just that you have to pass the ball more, because a lot of people, if you watch the game, you say, well, just like the running game can open up the passing game can open up the running game. The passing game, if you press the ball down the field, it opens up more of your passing game as well, because now you have everything underneath, because defensive backs are so mindful now of, shoot, I can't let Devontae Smith get past me. I can't let A.J. Brown get past me. And now everything underneath, the intermediates, the slants, the hitches, the screen passes, everything becomes available to you. And so then you can operate at an efficient clip like Jalen Hurts did yesterday against the Minnesota Vikings. It still didn't really help their running game, but eventually the hope is that it will. Right. Last year, it was a completely different team, built completely different. You didn't have the issues up front, offensive line-wise. You have some of those issues. You got to lean on everyone. And they have some great skill guys, clearly, that they can lean heavily upon.
Do you think, here's my galaxy brain theory, I view the whole NFL season as sort of an ecosystem and things affect other things. I thought the Jamar Chase game was just a big sign. If I was Petula, I'd be like, man, I'm just going to feed my guys. I'm just going to feed my superstar wide receivers, even though there was a lot of stats, and again, we're not too deep into the game plan. There's a lot of stats that you should run on the Vikings, do not throw on the Vikings. Do you buy the fact that they could just lean on this? This is not necessarily a story about Jalen Hurts, more a story about AJ and Devontae. Just feed these guys and good things will happen.
Why not? They can do so much. It's not just about the deep balls. You can run screens.
Right.
You can involve them.
And they're going to have
more targets.
Yeah, they're at the end of the day, I think whatever Jalen Hurts questions or debates that we had in the offseason or in off seasons past that were hypothetical, we're actually going to get real-world tests for. And the first one he aced with triple flying colors because they are not going to have a dominant running game this year. That is my other big takeaway is Saquon's 480 touches from last year are still showing up. The offensive line isn't quite as dominant. Saquon's workload was insane, and they are going to have to lean into their star wide receiver tandem to be able to win games.
They got 2 number 1 receivers.
Yes. Yeah. Their second best receiver won the Heisman Trophy as a wide receiver.
Host the Giants next week, revenge game.
Oh, boy.
Vrabel revenge game. Patriots rolled their coach's former team to notch their 3rd straight road victory. Just throwing that in there just because it's not just beating up on the Titans. 3rd straight road victory. Take a listen to some true leadership.
One sec. Hey, for Coach and all Tennessee coaches, Coach Vrabel, we love playing for you. Appreciate it. Glad you're our head coach, and we love you, Coach.
Thank you. Vibes off the chart. 125 passer rating, completing 75% of your passes in a 6-game span. Here's the list in NFL history. Now, it's Drake May, Goff, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees.
Twice.
Joe Montana. No big deal. Now, if you add...
And Kirk Cousins. Don't leave him out.
The podcast doesn't need everybody on there. If you add...
150 rushing yards, he's the only one.
In NFL history.
Yeah. He also joins Brady and Mahomes as the only guys with 6 straight games, 100 passer rating with at least 200 passing yards.
What about the rushes?
I don't have that off the top
Probably
of my head.
just Drake May. Does anyone...
Go ahead, KW.
Vegas graphics. I'll show you a Vegas graphic that I disagree with. And I just want to see if anybody wants to come on board. Odds to win the AFC East. It's still the Bills and Josh Allen.
You disagree with it because you don't think they're giving the Dolphins a good enough
Dolphins
shot? Are 400 to 1.
Tough one.
Jets are 500 to 1.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Greg, just for the record, I'll run through some stats that I wrote down.
All right.
We are top 5. There's hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 teams that are top 5 offense and defense scoring. Colts, your Colts. Packers, who you have going to the Super Bowl. Seahawks, who are sneaky good. Your Chiefs and the Patriots.
Hold on, KW, that can't be right.
Top 10.
Okay.
Sorry. There's 5 teams top 10. Not 5 top 10.
Okay.
I was like, top 10.
Yeah.
We'll edit that out for the West Coast feed. Greg, do you think that the Patriots have a legit claim that they are actually better than the Bills?
So, yes.
Thank you.
And I mean, obviously we gauge how somebody measures up by head-to-head.
Thank you. Great point.
I mean,
was it a neutral field?
It was not a neutral field.
Oh, in Buffalo?
It was in Buffalo.
Wow.
And so when you have that on your resume and you follow it up, because a lot of us, we were waiting to see,
letdown.
Will you have a letdown? And
That's
they
right.
have yet to have that letdown. You can't say that, and I actually said that win can actually work in reverse for them, where now they believe who they are. I think this team is showing they believe and they know who they are and what they're capable of. And so that's a scary team to play. And if you're the Buffalo Bills, yes, you've been the bully of that AFC East and you deserve all the credit, but they're not going to bow down to you. That team is just not going to do it.
No, I agree with that. They have an argument. They should believe that. I don't believe it.
Okay.
But they do. And the head-to-head thing, I get it. But if we're going to play that game, then who's better between the Steelers and the Patriots? Because the Steelers beat y'all.
Yeah, the Steelers.
Okay, the Raiders beat y'all. I'm just saying, like.
I'm talking about first place
right,
teams
and you
that are
continue
in the
to
first
play
place.
well, right?
Yeah.
Steelers in first place. But I look outside, and that the Patriots are good. All right, you guys picked them to make the playoffs. I didn't. They're looking like a playoff team right now. But I like the Bills better. Outside of the Bills and Carolina, which is having a good year, good resurgence. Y'all have beaten 3-1-6.
But the same deal. By the way, the Bills.
I'm just saying.
Hold on, but just real quick. But the Bills
haven't beaten
anybody.
Yes, other than Baltimore.
And so that's
Baltimore's not
by
good.
the way,
Baltimore's
is a 1-5
They had Lamar at that point. They were good in that game.
So I will just go very quick.
For the last few minutes.
They definitely have a legit claim. I still would go with Buffalo if this team were to. This could be a round 1 playoff game. Could be a and honestly. Even if we're in Foxborough, I think I'd go with Buffalo because of the pedigree of Josh and I just would.
And what else? That's it.
The tricky part.
That's a
like Josh
right.
and
no, that's just it. You're right. That's all. But sometimes that's what can be the deciding factor.
But it's not like you guys have a ton of names either.
No, and so the last point I'll make. I actually, KW, don't think it matters that much because what matters is May is legit. He's legit. And he is on the exact schedule he's supposed to be on if he's going to be a superstar, which is year 2, you're legit. So he's like, you should feel great, bro. You should feel great.
Remember when we were on the doorstep of destiny? Mm-hmm. What are you doing this for? You want more Patriots takes?
Yeah. I was trying to get there because you were getting rolled on.
Getting rolled on.
No one should have to choose between their own safety and their pets. But nearly half of domestic abuse survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Purina is helping to create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters through the Purple Leash Project, so survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to learn more.
Welcome back to the show. We're not huddling this segment. Guys, stop talking. Up 18, 6 minutes left, no huddles. If you're up 18 with 6 minutes left, that team had won 1,602 straight games. Not so fast, says Brian Daboll. Bo Nix cooks up the Giants' defense, scores 33 points in the fourth. Nick, this was a Giants collapse, and we looked at it through that angle. But are you ready to believe in Bo and the Broncos?
No, I am not. And I don't know. I should have asked Dust. I apologize. If we don't have their schedule, that's fine. If we do, please throw it up. They're 5-2, and you look at their bye, they're going to be 6-5 headed into the bye and have to scrape their way into the postseason.
Interesting.
They have scored 13 points total in quarters 1 through 3 of their last 3 games, all wins. 3 points, quarters 1 through 3 against Philly, 10 against the Jets, 0 yesterday against the Giants. I will give Bo Nix credit for being a gamer at the end of these games, and he is playing great at the end of these games. But I have watched the Broncos incredibly closely because I try to watch everything closely, but I watch my bets a little closer. And nothing fills me with more confidence than when I see Bo Nix is launching a deep ball on the run, that thing is sailing out of bounds. And I have seen it play in, play out, and then he has flipped the switch in these fourth quarters. And that matters for long term potentially, but I thought the Broncos defense yesterday was disappointing. I thought Sean Payton's game plan yesterday was disappointing, and I think that the last 2 games against the Giants and the Jets were as tough, ugly a wins as you're going to have. And so no, could I be wrong about them missing the playoffs? Sure. I still think they're going to have to fight to get in, but I do not look at them as a team nearly as good as their record.
I'm with you. Look, they might make the playoffs. I'm not saying they can't make the playoffs, but although that is a tough schedule. But I don't believe, they're not a contender. And it's the offense. And Bo Nix, as you said, he's been great in the fourth quarters. He's got an 87 passer rating. This is for the season. 6.1 yards per attempt. and 62% completion. Like, none of those numbers are good. And when you watch them, we know the defense is great. They lead the league in sacks. Their defense overall is good, despite yesterday.
Jackson Dart didn't seem to have an issue.
but overall, they've been a really
was their
good
first bad defensive
Right,
game.
they've been a very good defensive team overall. But offensively, I think that's their problem. If the Jets had a pulse offensively, they would have beat them. Yeah. And obviously, if the Giants don't collapse, they'd have beat them. So, might make the playoffs, but not a contender.
So we do this all the time. Like, if this team would have done this, they could have won. Yeah. This team is legit. This team is legit, and I'll tell you why. They're legit because there are not many teams that could be in these situations that they have been in and find themselves on the winning side of them.
That's fair.
Because of how sound they are defensively. Now, did they give up a lot yesterday against the Giants? Absolutely. But sometimes you let your guard down. What they can't have is those numbers from their quarterback. And if you look at yesterday's game, before I even get to the game, before I even get to we can go to the stats. Like, this is you got to find a way, if you're Sean Payton, to get that fourth quarter version of Bo Nix for the entirety of the game. Because that would only then make them even more legitimate.
Then they would be an excellent team.
Yeah, if they had hit fourth quarter Knicks throughout the game.
And the reason why I say that they're legit is because you can the 3 quarters of the way he's performing, it not only wears on fans and viewers, it wears on the team.
Yeah.
Like, defensively, they're like, man, come on, can we get something? They're on the field. They're getting these stops. They pitched basically a shutout in the second half. Well, not a shutout, but they did their job well enough to where, okay, we're going to give you another chance, offense. We're going to give you another chance, and we keep doing this. And even as at receivers, you talk about him throwing those balls out of bounds, but then something clicks. And it's like, who are you?
Yeah.
And
what does that say? Does that say anything to you that, I mean, do they take some of the guardrails off in the fourth quarter, or
it almost makes me feel like they need to, and I know we got to go with no huddle. It almost makes me feel like they need to just literally no huddle it. Like, put pressure.
Yeah, play the 2-minute offense.
Absolutely.
Early.
Put the pressure on him because he seems to get the best version out of Bo when the pressure is at his highest.
He's not worried not worried about making a mistake.
33 points in the fourth quarter. They'd have 132 if they play that way the whole game. That would be excellent. to beat, dude. What's the score?
Speaking of excellent.
Holy cow, 132-27. Christian McCaffrey having a year that rivals Saquon's CMC-esque year, bro. 31 touches, over 200 yards from scrimmage, 2 touchdowns, caught 7 pillows. How dangerous are the 49ers when Purdy returns? Now, they are 4-1 with Mac Jones.
Look, they are and Mac started out his first, 3 games, he going for 300 yards a game.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2, particularly yesterday, they have kind of won in spite of Mac. His last 2 games, he's got 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
So Juwan Jennings, what's he supposed to do, Greg?
Yesterday, an interception, a fumble. He got the fumble.
That was not his fault.
I get it, but you can say that about every single quarterback. It's on his record as an interception. But look, I do think Jones is on time. And that's why Shanahan liked him in the draft. Like, he's on time, he's on schedule, he's smart, processes well, all that stuff. But I do think they need Purdy's ability to ad lib and his mobility. Like, they wouldn't have beat Seattle with Mac, just because Mac wouldn't have been able to make that play that Purdy made it. I get it. It would have been a whole different game.
Do you think Purdy can make those plays with this toe injury?
Well, no. I mean, that's the thing. I'm talking about when he gets back 100% healthy, which who knows at that point. But bottom line, McCaffrey is – I am shocked at McCaffrey yesterday in particular. And Robert Saleh, to do that without Nick Bosa and Fred Warner yesterday, like
Saleh's
he's been phenomenal.
He's been the difference maker. Do I believe that this team is more dangerous with Purdy? I think this is who the 49ers are. They are well coached. They are going to be put in some great situations. I just don't think the gap from Purdy to Mac Jones is that drastic.
Yeah.
They're
as dangerous with Purdy as
this is about as dangerous as we're going to get.
The same danger level.
You might have some slight different schemes that you can put in because Purdy is obviously a little more mobile.
Yeah, it's the same danger
I just don't
level.
think he's going to be mobile. I don't think you come
Well,
back
not
from
without
Turf Toe and start moving.
no. I mean, and they might just keep him out until he's 100%.
Very quick question.
Be smart.
Because I don't want the Purdy conversation's either going to be 45 minutes or 40 seconds, so let's just do this.
Tough.
Does CMC have a shot to be on the ballot tomorrow?
Not tomorrow. Just because if he keeps this up,
Okay.
I think
they're 5-2.
He's been good throughout the season. Yeah. He was great yesterday. I don't think going into yesterday, obviously Taylor's ahead of him. I had Bijan ahead of him. He outplayed Bijan.
Yeah.
Okay. But probably not tomorrow.
Okay.
He looks fresh too, man.
Yeah.
And he's taking
the double tendonitis in the last year. He got the year off.
No, he looks great.
Saquon spent the year running for 2,000 yards. He's tired. CMC had the year off. He looks fresh.
All right, head to Dallas. Cowboys put up 44 on the Commanders. Dallas now 3-3-1. Washington loses the game and Jaden Daniels, who left with a hamstring. Commanders below 500. Hold on, Dusty was in my ear. Dusty, what's the latest from Dan Quinn? I'll just repeat it. Not long term, according to Dan Quinn.
That's it, though?
That's what Dusty, according to Dan Quinn via Dusty. That's all he said.
3 games, 1.
What's the story of this game for you?
Okay, Hubs, tell me in my ear if the line, because Dan Quinn can say what he wants, but as long as I'm checking on DraftKings right now. As long as they're still 10-point underdogs, it means, which they are, they don't think Jaden's playing this week. You know, it can not be long term, but if they're 10-point dogs, Vegas is telling us they don't think he's playing this week. The bigger story is the Commanders, in my opinion, for 2 reasons. One is those of us, no, I know that. I'll get to that in a second. Those of us that were concerned about Jaden coming into the league because of durability have now seen Jaden through 1 1/3 seasons, get his ribs cracked, hurt his knee, and now have a weird soft tissue thing that seemed to be related to the knee, but not, I don't know, whatever it is. It's 3 separate injuries.
Right.
One of which he got knocked out of a game for, another of which he missed 2 games for, and this one it looks like he's going to miss a game. So that's a concern. The other concern is they're in 13th place in the NFC, and their next 3 are, as Greg was pointing out, Kansas City, Seattle, Detroit, and they have 2 more left against Philly. Yeah. It is very difficult for me to see how this team is going to be able to make the playoffs. And that's, to me, the story. You can't, teams that are fighting for that last playoff spot just beat you in back-to-back weeks in the Bears and the Cowboys. And you don't have to worry about tiebreakers, oddly, with the Cowboys, because since they have a tie, you're not going to be in to have the same record as them. But you do have to worry about it with the Bears, and you lost to them. So, to me, that's the bigger story. A team that was, not on this show, but a somewhat trendy pick to go to the Super Bowl, and was my pick, to be fair, to win that division, I think they are teetering on their season being over, Greg.
Yeah, bigger story is definitely the Commanders. I didn't have them making the playoffs, not because of injuries. I just didn't think that they could recapture what they did in year 1 with Jaden Daniels. But when you lose to the Cowboys, a team now you're in 3rd place in that division, you not only suffered the loss, you suffered an even greater loss, in my opinion, with your quarterback. Because to your point, last year, healthy. Now we're starting to see this, and I don't knock them for that, because you're not going to get through this type of a game and never get injured. You're going to have injuries. But when you see that this team offensively, they no Deebo Samuel, haven't had Terry McLaurin for the last 4 weeks or so, and now your quarterback is potentially teetering on, is he going to play? That's not a good sign when you look at the schedule coming up and
Already
you know
Eckler,
we need our players
Wise,
in order to compete and win these types of games. Yeah, so this is the bigger for Commanders in the loss.
It's so weird. I know, just doing the 49ers story and then the Commander story. 49ers lost their quarterback, lost defensive players, lost offensive players, and it's they're still in it.
No,
great coaching.
point.
But Commanders are done, bro?
They're in trouble. They're in trouble. There's no doubt.
And I mean,
it feels like a lost year the whole time because, like you said, McLaurin's been out for so long. Debo now is out. Jaden's been kind of in and out.
That Thursday night game killed him with Eckler popping his Achilles, Wise getting hurt. And now, I mean, 10-point dogs at Arrowhead.
Vladdy coming in with the Austin Matthews jersey. Mariners, Blue Jays, winners goes to the World Series. Coverage starts at 7. We're going to tell you who wins next.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso. Gift magical mornings with Nespresso Virtuo Pop. Compact and stylish, Virtuo Pop is made to meet every morning coffee craving. From espresso to coffee, hot or iced, at the click of a button. And celebrate the season with Nespresso's limited edition coffee flavors. Sweet almond and hibiscus, cinnamon and candied tamarind, and festive double espresso. Magic in the making. Shop the holiday gift collection exclusively at Nespresso.com.
Fox this weekend. Giants and Eagles. Little revenge game for Saquon, not only because he was on the Giants, but the Giants just beat him. Then at 4 o'clock, Bucs Saints. These are all on Fox this Sunday. Excellent game. Browns Patriots. You can come over to my house for that one.
Is that a real invite?
No. Crowded slate of games tonight, 2 Monday night games, and a Game 7. We're going to start with football. Lions hosting Baker and the Bucs. Mike Evans back, Ibuka gone. Lions trying to get past a loss to the Chiefs. Nick, are you expecting a Lions bounce-back game after a lot of media chatter? Maybe put on your media ombudsman hat.
Yeah, the last couple of years, teams coming off losing to the Chiefs are 5-12 in the following game. So that's to me, I think it's noteworthy because you put a lot into playing for most of those games. They were the defense. I'm serious.
Oh, it's a good stat.
It's a real stat, Greg. 5-12.
5-12.
You put a lot in. For most of those games, the Chiefs literally were the defending champs, and most of those games were close games, and so there was a bit of a letdown effect. I also think the Lions specifically were doing a lot of whining last week. Angry, not at the. I mean, who are they mad at? First, they were mad at the Craig Rolls stat for getting a call right, and then they were mad at the NFL Films and Louis Riddick for putting together a 1-minute compilation.
Mad at Juju, really.
Yeah, mad at Juju. A lot of whining. And listen, the Lions should win. They're at home. They are actually healthier than Tampa. They need the game more. But I'm worried that they lost a bit of focus here. So I am not expecting a Lions bounce-back game, Greg. If you roll your eyes at my sparkling.
I do expect the Lions bounce back, just because of all of what you mentioned. Like, they played the Chiefs. They don't feel good about how they showed up into Arrowhead. They are a little healthier. You're at home. It's Monday night. You have the crowd. You play well at home. This is a team that you do not take for granted because it's been a dogfight the last couple times that they've played the Buccaneers. Right. And so they respect this team, regardless of how they're coming in, who they're going to have available to play. They're going to respect this team, and Dan Campbell typically has his team ready to play when they have suffered a loss like that.
I'm with Greg. Like, I definitely expect to bounce back. They need this game badly, and Tampa's been living dangerously.
Yeah,
they beat the Jets by 2. All right, the Jets. All right, they beat Atlanta, which is like a roller coaster. Yeah. Who knows which Atlanta team is showing up? But still, they barely beat them. Atlanta really should have won that game on opening weekend. And so I think Detroit was embarrassed. I think they wanted to go out there and play the Chiefs and make a statement against the Chiefs and for the rest of the league, and clearly didn't do it. And they're going to come out and try to reestablish themselves as kind of the bullies, the tough guys again. And I will be surprised if they don't win this game.
It's a huge swing for them in their chance of being the 1 seed. If they win it, they are almost the 1 seed in the NFC. Technically, it would be your team, the Packers, because of the tie. But if they lose it, Tampa has 1 loss, they have 3, and Tampa has the head-to-head. So it's huge for...
Sneaky must-win for Detroit.
Yes.
Sneaky must-win.
Yeah.
Head to Toronto.
This is not a sneaky must-win.
Coverage starts at 7 o'clock. Mariners, Blue Jays. Winner goes to the World Series to face the Dodgers. It's a Game 3 rematch. Shane Bieber and George Kirby. Blue Jays came out on top there. My guy, George Kirby, was not good. Brew, we'll start with you. Who do you have tonight in this Game 7?
Look, my team is the Dodgers with Ohtani, but I like both. Look, I'm loving what Vlad is doing, so I wouldn't mind seeing him going. I'm loving, of course, Big Dumper. But I'm going to go with Seattle.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Seattle.
You've been a big dumper guy all year, bro.
Yeah,
You have to go with Seattle.
You got to go.
Listen, I'm just rooting for what I think is the coolest storyline. And the coolest storyline is Seattle, which is the only team in professional baseball who has never made a World Series. Great trivia last week, Gianna. Terrible job by Danny not knowing that. Making a World Series and having Cal Raleigh and his 60-plus home runs, which at this point it's like 66 on the season, against Ohtani in the World Series. So I say Seattle. I'm going with Seattle. I want Seattle.
I obviously want the Mariners. I'm a huge Mariners guy. They're going to use everybody, which I somewhat like, but I don't want to have a quick pull of George Kirby. George Kirby needs to go 6 innings.
Wow.
Don't go like 2 innings.
If he goes 6 innings, they win.
The 4 starters have gone a combined 13 in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, I know, and they have a 7 ERA.
Pulled, like, guys, get locked in.
All right, you guys did it. I was going to pick the Mariners because obviously I like, as a champion, if I'm going to lose, I want to lose, say I lost to the better team.
Yeah, and you're a Tigers.
And the Tigers did that. But I'm going Blue Jays because all of you guys are going with the Mariners, so I got to go with the Blue Jays. Let's go, Vlad.
And coach in spirit be going with the Blue Jays.
This counts for upset alert?
No. Stop messing with upset alert. There's a big disaster.
I told you.
Big disaster.
Well, it was a bit of a mess.
Big disaster.
Y'all should lose points for that.
Live from New York, it's a show that's trying to be a good teammate at all times. Not out here pitching perfect games. Sometimes I run the wrong route, but just throw it to where I am. You know what I mean? Don't have to be like you were supposed to be there in a purposeful and first hour of. No, it's not the first hour. See? It's first hour, first things first overtime, though.
Yeah, it is the first hour.
I'm sorry I threw you off your game.
Yeah.
Today, a fresh episode of Stock Up, Stock Down, as Micah Parsons, not inspired by the Bud list, inspired by Pack Stats, making stats cool again.
Really?
Yes.
He was. You're right, because you ripped it.
You just spitting
out
shots
at you.
And next thing you know, Micah's like, hold on, it's supposed to pressure quarterback.
I'm not making a difference?
Yeah.
And then how did he respond?
Yeah, he
it's like the
saved
Bud
the
list.
day.
Maybe you were inspired by the Bud list.
Possibly second most inspirational segment in sports.
Pretty good. Meanwhile, did the Eagles officially erase all concerns now that Jalen Hurts is throwing the ball all around the field? That would be good. But right now, we're starting with the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs crushed the Raiders. My favorite stat via Kendall Baker at Yahoo, Casey had 30 first downs. The Raiders ran 30 plays.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
And also, the Chiefs stopped trying to get first downs at the end of the 3rd quarter.
Here's Patrick Mahomes. Take a listen.
We want to be better than what we are right now. And so this was a great step in the right direction, but we got to keep building as a whole team. I think this is probably the most consistent that we've seen, that we've been able to play and kind of stack games together. And obviously our record's still not where we want it to be, but you can see from offense, defense, we've had bright moments in this season, and now it seems like we're coming together as a team.
Okay. What did the Chiefs prove with that victory?
That they are once again the scariest team in the NFL.
Thank you. So hold on, wait. To be clear, I don't know that he's on the schedule again. But do we still, is part of the scariness being afraid that Russell Wilson can outplay Patrick Mahomes?
That was just a moment in time.
Is part of the scariness being worried that they can't keep up with prolific offenses like Detroit or Baltimore? I'm just curious, what type of fear are we talking about here?
Those takes aged like avocados.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm willing to point from. I said I would not doubt them again. And listen, you are the Chiefs guy, and you have coined a lot of phrases.
Yeah, tackle the turn the tide. It's the best one.
Yeah, never a doubt.
Yeah.
They're the benefit of the doubt team. Every team in the league has questions. Tampa's just 1-score games. Eagles, can they do it consistently? But at least the Eagles, they've won a Super Bowl and they've beaten the Chiefs. If it's a wide open league and the Chiefs can put an offensive performance like that together, and they can string them together, which is what my real concern with them was. Not I don't believe the Chiefs can be good, but can the Chiefs offense look like they've looked the last 4 games, and now they've got 350 yards and 28 points in 4 consecutive games, and it took them, 29 times to do that before? They have removed
Can I ask
any doubt.
About this?
Go ahead.
I have a question, too. Did something happen, right before this 4-game streak that maybe could have changed the template of the season for them?
It's possible.
Okay.
But do you think, Danny, that because Nick did a big thing like ripping all the Chiefs doubters. But that this graphic would be like, well, why do you think the real team is the team in the last 4 games versus the previous 29 games, as the sort of empirical scientist on the staff?
I appreciate that. And how much does that hurt?
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
That must hurt you a little bit. Well, I think the fact that Xavier Worthy came back, and then now Rashee Rice is back, and this last game was the first game ever that Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, and Xavier Worthy have all played together. And again, I think the benefit of the doubt thing for them is real because, as Nick points out all the time, this is not a 29-game sample size team. It's a 7-year run.
Well, so this is my pushback on that, where you seem to feel like I am more bothered than I should be about the doubts after the 0-2 start, to which I kept bringing this up, but that the Patriots from 2011 to 2018, the only other team to make 7 straight conference championship games, they made 8 straight. Chiefs are trying to match that. 4 of those years started 2-2. That we got used to the idea that the Patriots would figure out who they were in September and then get rolling. And the reason that the 29-game sample stuff bothers me so much is within that sample was literally them going on the road through the toughest by advanced metrics playoff gauntlet ever and winning a Super Bowl, and then the next year going 15-1 with their starting quarterback playing, and then scoring 30 in 32 to go back to the Super Bowl when the offense got rolling at the end of the year. And we knew they were dealing with injuries at the offensive line and, more importantly, the most injured skill position group in football. And that's what so to me, what they proved was, aside from the fact that obviously it will go down in history as a tackle that turned the tide, turned the season around, and all the numbers back it up, just roll through the full screens quickly, Christina. We just can't. Like, everybody wants to do like these other things. That's the moment. And people can laugh because I'm a little tongue-in-cheek with calling it the tackle that turned the tide. Fact of the matter is this. They were 0-2, looked worse than they had looked in weeks 1 or week 2 in the first half against the Giants, and a Giants defender has picked up a football to take a lead going into halftime. And Mahomes took it back from him, and since then, they've looked unbelievable. They did lose a game, obviously, and Mahomes made a mistake, but it's the only real mistake of consequence made all year. That's to your point, Danny. Since then, they've been the most prolific offense in football. Since then, Mahomes been the best player in football, all of those numbers. But the other thing that they proved was if Patrick just has competent offensive line play and receivers he can trust, they are the scariest offense in football. And listen, I am very high on Rashee Rice, who he already is and who he's going to be as a player. But he is not right now a top 10 receiver in football. He's, nobody would say he's better than Amon-Ra St. Brown or CD or any of those guys. I think Xavier Worthy is going to be a legitimate number 1. He is not that yet. And Kelsey obviously is not the player he was 4 years ago. But once those guys are out there and you actually have human beings that can beat man coverage and guys that Patrick trusts, they are going to move the ball at will. And to me, that's what they proved, bro.
Yeah, no, Danny, I coined the phrase the light show that has kind of caught fire.
Yeah, Brew invented
and that. It proved that the light show is back. Like, there's no question about that. And we'll see what Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy become. But, I mean, that offense now has the deep ball threats in Worthy and Thornton. You got the underneath threats. Kelsey now looks obviously not like he was in his prime, but he's been a lot more productive since Worthy got back. Hollywood, Juju. I mean, now that core looks really good, like deep. Rashee is great with yards after the catch. But beyond the light show being back, Danny, this is the first time in Mahomes' career. Now, we'll see if it carries out for the whole season. But the first time in his career that they have had a top 5 total offense and a top 5 total defense. Usually the offense is phenomenal, defense is okay. Defense is phenomenal, offense is solid. Now they look like they have both. And that's what's scary for the league.
I agree, and we get a lot of fun tests. Like they still have to play Buffalo, they still have to play Indianapolis. Yeah. Like we get to see regular season tests of this like newfound Chiefs thing.
They play the Broncos
against
twice.
Detroit and Baltimore with Lamar. That's what it was. The offense was clicking, and they shut them down defensively.
But to Wilds' point too, like my criticisms or questions of the Chiefs were like present tense. Like I never was like the dynasty is over. Like Mahomes will win another MVP or two, another ring or two or three. It was just like in that moment in time, was their offense broken because of all of the guys who were out? And they did look, I mean, they lost that game to Philly when I picked Philly when we were all in Kansas City. They were struggling against the Giants, and now things have changed.
Yeah, thank God for the tackle that turned the tide.
Without the tackle that turned the tide.
Without the tackle that turned the tide, everything's different. Who knows? Also kind of a sad, and this might lead well into stock up, stock down, kind of a sad omission there by you.
What'd I do?
You were like, they still play Buffalo. They still play Indy. They still play the Chargers too, buddy. But you're just
the Chargers already beat.
I'm just saying, like
that's even more why you should have said it.
Exactly.
But
you were thinking of the best teams and the best quarterbacks in football, and like Chargers didn't even come to mind.
Check in on the Packers and Micah Parsons, who had one of the best games of his career: 3 sacks. 5 quarterback hits. Was he inspired by Danny's segment last week? Well, we'll find out in today's edition of Stock Up, Stock Down.
That's right. Stock up, Micah Parsons. It didn't take long. Pressures. 116% increase for the Packers this week from last week. And you said one of the best games of Micah Parsons' career. He's never had 3 sacks in a game, so the best sack game definitively of his career. And he tied his career high for quarterback hits with 5 and tackles for a loss with 4. I have no idea what Arizona was doing blocking him one-on-one. Like you guys were showing the highlights earlier. There was no help ever. Like, Micah Parsons is still really, really good, and he's just blowing past one blocker each and every time. It was his best game as a Packer and the best game of his career.
So I think that's pretty undisputable, and I think it's a great point. I want to kind of open it up a little bit wider because you are obviously a well-known Packers hater, just out of fandom. Nothing against the guys. Well, he's a Bears and Packers fans hate.
He didn't even pick them to make the playoffs.
Yeah, when they traded for Micah, he moved them up from last place
I
in the
thought
division
that was
to third place.
It's genuine. It's genuine. And
it's a heart.
And dislike for their fans.
And you, Brew, obviously picking to go to the Super Bowl. I wonder if you feel similarly to the Packers, though, through 6 weeks as Brew, which is not great about how they've looked this last month. Like that it is good that they got that win. Yep. And it's also, your point's right, that it seemed odd that they just let Micah Parsons continue to do damage. But Arizona moved the ball. When Micah Parsons wasn't sacking the quarterback or getting TFLs, Jacoby Brissett was moving the ball, and Green Bay did need to convert a 4th and 2 late that ended up essentially winning them that game. I'm surprised the defense, after that amazing start, has not looked as dominant as I thought it would personnel-wise.
I agree. Hey, listen, both sides of the ball. To pick up a 4th and 4, they're throwing it 45 yards down the field. Like they're a very inconsistent team on offense and defense. And so I think they're better than I gave them credit for preseason. They're just good enough to make a critical mistake in the division round of the playoffs.
Go ahead.
Well, I thought we were going on more. We have to check the stock market. It's like you in the breaks, bro.
This one hurts. But to show that I am fair, stock down, Caleb Williams.
Wow.
He was objectively not good against the Saints, and the Saints defense has been objectively terrible against the pass. This is his passer rating, week 3, week 4, week 6, they had the bye in week 5, and week 7, the lowest of the season at this point. And it was masked by 4 takeaways. And in this 4-game winning streak, they have 15 takeaways in 4 games.
Oh, that's too many.
That is too many.
That's a problem. I mean, that's a
not
weird
sustainable.
problem. But yeah, that's a problem.
Right.
Yeah, not sustainable. It's like Caleb objectively was not good. And people were talking about, like, are you being too critical? Is there too much scrutiny on him because they are winning? No, he has to play better, period, because the takeaways are not sustainable, bro.
You guys, we talked about it last week. You wanted to see a monster game from him. I said I'd be happy with a win and a solid performance. This wasn't a solid performance. And you're right, they did get the win, so good for them. Look, stacking wins is obviously important. They are right in the thick of the playoff race. But that was disappointing. I mean, again, I didn't want fireworks. I just wanted solid, steady play, and I didn't see that. And he continues to be on this roller coaster.
And has trouble handling the snap.
Yeah.
2 botched snaps, 6 other offensive penalties. His passer rating since that Cowboys win is 78. He has 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions since the Cowboys game.
Yeah.
It's not going great.
No, I gotta say, this game really surprised me.
By how he performed?
Yes. I thought that it was, I don't want to say impossible, but I thought that barring, a bunch of turnovers, that obviously the Bears are going to move the ball through the air on New Orleans because everyone has moved the ball through the air on New Orleans. And for them to instead win just because New Orleans kept giving them the ball, they made some great plays obviously as well. I did not, that was to me almost the least likely of these outcomes. And even if Brew's take of, hey, just a solid game, and it was smarter than me or Danny's, I did not see bad game on the board. Right. And to me, I think had they lost, this would be one of the worst performances of any quarterback all year. Let me rephrase that. Of any guy that we consider a real starting quarterback, that isn't a backup or a guy that's just put in there. So yeah.
It's a long way of saying, perhaps I deserve some points because this was my upset alert pick.
They lost by 12 points.
I was almost.
You picked a team that lost by 12.
But a lot of you guys were like, man, Wild, you called this kind of.
No. What was your other
almost
upset,
an upset?
Since you did 2?
Giants, Broncos. Almost called that one too.
Ooh,
that one covered. So I got
You get. Oh, that's why you were advocating for Coach to get a point for that because you also had it. No,
right?
it was very clear
bucked the system.
that
I was like, the Saints aren't that bad.
Buck the system. Now, if we want to say that last week upset alert, Nick's picks and Parkins' picks is we're just going to pretend it didn't happen.
I'll think of it.
I'm fine with that.
All right.
2-0 Parkins picks.
I didn't look at your picks.
Oh, no, 2-0. Seattle pending tonight for a perfect week. Stock up the Colts' legitimacy as contenders.
This is real.
I don't know how we can deny this anymore. The graphic here is a simple one.
Guy.
Points, as in points scored, week to week to week. If you score a lot of points, Nick, you're a big brain football guy.
Yeah.
You often win football games. And I know people have questions about Daniel Jones. People have questions about their opponents. They're 6-1, and you guys showed this earlier in the show. I just wanted to add one more team to it since it's fresh in everyone's mind. Points per drive, if they actually did this for the full year, 07 Patriots, 18 Chiefs, and the Lions from last year who won 15 games and were the 1 seed. I don't know, in a wide open NFL, and we get to see them against your Chiefs in a couple of weeks. But, man, they could easily be 9-1 coming off a bye heading into Arrowhead based on their schedule. We have to look at the Colts as being real.
No, look, the Chiefs look like they are a level above everybody else in the AFC. But everybody else, Buffalo, if you want to throw New England, I would put the Colts right there with anybody else in the AFC right now. To do what they did, I really didn't believe in them through the first 6 weeks because I felt like, okay, they're not beating great teams. They obviously lost to the Rams. To do that to a Jim Harbaugh coach team that's pretty good, got Khalil Mack back, by the way, that Chargers defense. That's the second most points put on a Harbaugh team since he took over the Chargers last year. So that was incredibly impressive. And it's strange how they're doing it. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor is a star. Jones is not. The receivers are not. The tight end is playing well. But it's incredible what they're doing.
Did you think the Vikings were a legit Super Bowl contender last year?
I did not.
Okay, then to me, this is the exact same bucket. Like, you have a superstar skill position player, Justin Jefferson, Jonathan Taylor. You have one of those quarterback whisperer head coaches you love so much, Kevin O'Connell, Shane Steichen. You have a quarterback that there's just going to be massive questions about throughout the entirety of the year, and then even into next year as Darnold is now answering them, but it has to be more than a year. And you're going to end up with a gaudy record, which I give you credit for, but I do not, right now, for me, if I were ranking AFC Super Bowl contenders, I'd go Chiefs here in a tier by themselves. In the second tier by themselves would be Buffalo, and then the third tier together would be this team and the Patriots, who are having awesome seasons and are really solid teams.
How does that not make them a legitimate contender if you have them third in the AFC?
Well, tied for third, but I mean, there's going to be 7 teams make the playoffs. I just can't. I can't close my eyes and envision the Indianapolis Colts playing for the Super Bowl this year. I just can't. Maybe it's unfair, and I also do think we need to see the defense against real quarterbacks, because your guy Herbert threw for 400 yards on him. Stafford beat him, and everyone else is.
The Stafford game, I know we can play the asterisk game with all the games, but that was a game that the Colts easily could have won if it wasn't for wacky stuff.
Correct, but the wacky stuff wasn't the Rams moving the ball. The wacky stuff was the Colts costing themselves points.
Can I say one more thing before we go to stock up, stock down? Because I thought about this. I thought it was a really good point about the Vikings. I don't know if Justin Jefferson versus Jonathan Taylor is just like, outstanding skill position guy. Like Justin Jefferson yesterday was just shut down. I don't know if you can shut down Jonathan Taylor.
Well, their offensive line is good.
It's more Saquon-esque last year.
You're saying a running back is less dependent on another guy.
It's almost like this big like moat around Daniel Jones going pumpkin mode.
That's fair.
Last one, and again, to show that I'm fair and accountable, this one also hurts me. Stock down.
This is like a self-roast a little bit.
Justin Herbert's MVP candidacy.
Oh, you don't say.
You know why, Nick? Because in order to be the MVP, you got to win. So we decided to track his winning percentage. It started out perfect.
It's not just that, though.
Well, here's the thing. Justin Herbert had a few bad moments yesterday, but he also was great.
Oh, stop.
He was.
We were texting about
had some throws. He had some
great throws.
Name 3 guys on the planet could make that throw.
That's right. He did not allow 38 points. There were some bad moments early.
He threw a pick in the end zone when the game was in jeopardy.
That was
and
one
then
of the
they
bad
got
moments.
the ball back with down 14, finally with a chance to make it a game.
Tipped interception. Bad luck.
God.
Bad luck.
Okay.
21 pressures on 58 dropbacks. He didn't allow 38 points. He was, not great, and he's not going to win MVP because of the wins, but also
you're writing off the MVP candidacy?
MVP's not happening this year because he's fallen behind pace of Peyton Manning.
Here's the other.
In the
well,
MVP
that's
year.
hold on. Look, I just
wanted to update it. In interest of fairness, through 7 games. The statistical numbers are actually not terribly far off. You can make up that gap. But the problem is the 2 at the bottom. They're not scoring enough points or winning enough games.
Yeah, I mean, they did exactly what you asked them to do, which is throw the ball more. And by the way, another thing we're going to have to hear for the next 4 years about Justin Herbert. Did you see it yesterday? He is this close to the most completions through 7 years. He already has the most yards through 6 years and the most completions.
Big compiler.
Yeah, and all Danny wanted was them to throw the ball more with him.
And they're 4-3.
They throw the ball more with him and they lose games. Go ahead.
Danny, last 5 games, he's got 8 touchdowns, 6 picks. The more he throws, the more interceptions.
But not all of them were his fault.
Well, they're not. Thank you.
We can say that for every quarterback in the league.
Yeah, it's true.
All right?
Peyton Manning, stock
Don't
up.
save him. He's
the real
drowning
Peyton
right
Manning,
Throw him a
stock
lifeline.
Yeah, Peyton's legacy is secure. Justin Herbert is still working on his legacy. Okay.
He sure
coming up
is.
next, excellent edition of Stock Up, Stock Down. Coming up next, are the Eagles going back to the Super Bowl? We discuss next.
Welcome back. Greg Jennings and Willie Colon out here with me, and we are now talking about the Eagles. You know what? That's just more like it. That's what some of us were waiting to see. Throw the ball down the field and good things happen. The defending Super Bowl champs beat the Vikings. Jalen Hurts has a perfect passer rating, 3 touchdowns, 2 to A.J. Brown. Here's Jalen Hurts spiking the proverbial football.
It was a collective, and I think we still ironing things out. We still are going to be critical of ourselves, but it's good to be critical when we're winning and finding a way to win. And so that's always the number one goal. Great effort by everyone today.
So the question is, are the Eagles' problems officially behind them? And I will just say, for now, yes. But to me, the best compliment I can give the Eagles is that team can win this year's Super Bowl. You need to prove to me that you can do something excellent on the offensive side of the ball to win. And Jalen Hurts throwing to Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown looked excellent. Saquon is still a problem. The defense is still improving and young. But if Jalen Hurts plays football like that, they will be a problem for anybody that they play because, breaking news, they beat good teams consistently.
Yeah, they do. I don't think their problems are officially behind them. You listen to Jalen Hurts, he understands, like, it's a process. Like, we're still ironing things out. They're still trying to figure out how we can run the ball better, how we can be better in that element of the game. Now, yesterday, I think they answered a lot of the questions that, not really questions that we had, but like they pretty much did what everyone was hoping that they would show us earlier in the season, which was throw the ball and throw the ball effectively. The thing that I loved about how they threw the ball is they threw it down the field, opening up not just hopefully the run game, but even more of the passing game underneath. A lot of people just think that when you throw the ball down the field or you throw in the passing game, it opens up your run game, but it also opens up other parts of your passing game, and that's what we saw. They were very efficient. They used their big playmakers on the outside, and they had a tremendous amount of success doing it.
Yeah, this is the best passing performance I've ever seen from Jalen Hurts. I mean, he was just money good. I'm happy that the babies were able to get fed and they shut up. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, they all ate. But I'm kind of like Greg. One good game doesn't erase the uglies. I think when you talk about this offense right now, when January shows up, you need two things. You need a run game and an offensive line. That didn't show up for them. What we saw was explosive, Jalen Hurts on time with the football. And when you go against a defense that can shut down your vertical routes and really force you into a muddy run script, who are you? Because that's what happens in January. So I'm not surprised they're capable of this. What I'm more worried about when January come around, who are the Eagles? Because right now I think their identity is still in question.
We can't play January football games, though, in October.
Yeah.
And, like, I had a real question on, in October, could this team have done that?
Right.
You know, no. So, like, the fact that they did it, and then I was, I'm very online. I'm of that generation. I didn't see a single subtweet or Instagram post, because we've seen it out of wins. And, like, it felt quieted.
Not when we're getting involved. Not when
diva wide receivers.
Not when the offense looks sexy. And what makes the offense look sexy is you use the guys that are on the perimeter.
I see. That's what you're all happy. I get it.
No, I look at this game as saying good. This game felt more like a reset and an exhale. This didn't feel like the Eagles finally say, we are them, right? Like, I still think we need to see Saquon. We need to see this offensive line. The defense needs to be better. There's still questions to be answered. So I am happy they won. I'm happy we don't have to talk about A.J. Brown not getting the ball. But now it's about stacking wins and stacking high-octane football for the next 2 weeks. Then we could talk about, all right, are the Eagles officially back?
I do think, though, too, like, Kevin Patullo, quiets around him now. And then we could put up the Eagles' schedule, and all of a sudden, like, we peel it back and you're like, okay, well, they beat Dallas, Kansas City, LA, Tampa, Minnesota. Now they're this year's resume, not last year's Super Bowl team, not some hypothetical thing in the future. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is a 5-2 team with a good this year resume. Like, there's a reason to, because all the Eagles did all offseason was, we don't even want to look at our banner. We don't want to look at the rings. We don't want to talk about the Super Bowl.
Which is smart.
Sure. Yeah. But then when they had that 2-game losing streak and they were asked about it, hey, is this the 2023 blip, the funk and all that? They were like, well, how do you know it's just not last year's blip? They started talking about the Super Bowl from last year. They got defensive.
Sure.
They got defensive.
Mm-hmm.
But now this year's team has something they can hang their hat on and say, look, we can do that.
Yeah, I think some of the problem with this Eagles team is I think they get in their own head and they get in their own way in terms of trying to, and Jalen Hurts kind of alluded to it in postgame, because they have an identity of being a physical outfit, of running the ball first, being a run-first team. They try to force that issue even when it's not being productive. It's counterproductive at times, and I think they've hurt themselves by saying, you know what, this is who we are, we're going to stick to our guns, when every game kind of creates character of its own. And you have to play that game and provide the offense of what's being shown. Yeah, if you can't run the ball this game, you better be able to pass the ball and still win games, and that's what they were able to do yesterday.
Well, quickly, I'm not afraid with them being alarmed, because when your bread and butter is no longer your bread and butter, you start questioning what you can really do well. And it took a game like this to happen to say, okay, we're not as bad as we think we are. 2-game losing streak, this calls for concern there.
And now it's behind them. I've been waiting all day to talk about this game. Craziest game so far in the NFL season to date. And I didn't think it was going to be Broncos and Giants racing a 26-8 deficit with just over 5 minutes to go. The Broncos scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. That's a bit above average. So there's a comeback and a collapse. We will hear from both quarterbacks, starting with Jackson Dart, then Bo Nix.
I never felt like we were going to lose the game. I've had some tough ones. I just can't stand losing, so a loss hurts me the same.
All of a sudden, we just got some life back, thought we could win the game, and so we, kept playing until we won the game.
So the obvious answer here is both, but Willie, I'll start with you. Bigger story, Broncos comeback or Giants collapse?
Giants collapse. Bottom line, this is Brian Daboll. When you talk about 4-minute football, right? You got to understand how this all situated. You're talking about the Giants being up by 10 points, the Broncos having 3 touchdowns. Giants get the ball, run the ball, scattable, boom. That's what you should do. Second time up, run the ball, scattable again. Good. Now it's 3rd and 5. You put the ball in Jackson Dart's hand instead of running the football, because even if you get stopped on there, you punt the ball. The Broncos now have to not only burn a timeout, but they have to go the length of the field. Even if they score, now, even let's say if they get a 2-point conversion, now they're down by 1. They have to onside kick. There's not enough time in the game for them to rally back. So this is a collapse on 4-minute football. And this is
they would have burned their last time out.
Yeah, this is on Brian Daboll. You have to ice this game. You got to lean on your offensive line and your run game and realize that, sure, your defense is getting slaughtered, but the time is against the Broncos in this moment. So for me, it was about Brian Daboll and his defense. Shane Bowen, the fact, I know you was a little depleted in the secondary, but the fact that you didn't blitz and allow your boys to go hunt when you know you have Bo Nix who's trying to take on a Herculean effort to win that game and you put no pressure on him, it was just a total collapse. I put this on both sides of the football, but mostly Brian Daboll.
Yeah, I'm going the opposite way. I thought the bigger story was the comeback because we've seen this team do it. Again, against the Eagles, we saw this type of a performance come back in the fourth quarter and put up a tremendous amount of points to win the game. But I don't know how sustainable this is. And even with the success that they were able to have in the fourth quarter, you go back to the post game, and we had that shot there. But Bo Nix said something else in the post game that I didn't necessarily care for, and I just want to get your guys' take on this, specifically yours.
Is this
Willie.
a he said, we said? What?
No,
is this a moment?
coming up tomorrow.
Just take a listen. Take a listen to this sound from Bo Nix.
We just saved all our good ones for the fourth quarter, and they worked.
Oh, he's being cute there.
So I know he's being cute there.
Yeah.
I know he's being cute there. I don't think he's put himself in a position to where he can do that. Okay. And I don't get me wrong. I'm nitpicking now.
Okay.
Because we weren't all in. We were in that situation because of how you were playing. And if you look at the numbers of him in the first 3 quarters versus the fourth quarter, like we need the fourth quarter version to show up in quarter 1, 2, and 3, and we wouldn't be in this situation. And so, like, I get it. He's making light. He's having fun because they were able to come back. But these aren't types of wins that are sustainable when you're playing teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, the cream of the crops when you play every single week. You can't perform like this and expect to win every game in the fourth quarter.
So I'm going to cop out here. The bigger story of the game to me was what you said, was the Giants collapse because you're missing extra points and your coach is not putting you in the best position to win that game. Like if I genuinely believe that if I was managing that game for the Giants in the fourth quarter, I genuinely believe the Giants would have won.
100%.
You know what I mean? Just like my understanding of game theory and all that sort of thing. So that in the game, it's the Giants. But 5 weeks from now, we could still be talking about the Broncos.
Correct.
Because they are 5-2. They are in first place in the AFC West. And I was just curious, like this stretch of games, and you alluded to it a little bit. They have the 18-point fourth quarter comeback against Philly. Then they go from Philly to London. They have another fourth quarter comeback against the Jets. Then they fly all the way from London back to Denver, no bye week after an international game, and they have their 3rd straight fourth quarter win in that spot. Is there something to Sean Payton, calloused team? I feel like not every team would have been able to handle that. Like that schedule, that travel, those 3 opponents, 3 straight fourth quarter comebacks, 4 straight wins.
You have to pay attention to that. And I think more importantly is when you have a team that shows that they will not give up and there is fight, that's something to hang your hat on. However, you can't go through the rest of the season doing this.
Well, it's one of the dumbest games I've ever seen. Like both teams had a tipped pass touchdown.
Yeah, but I mean,
You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't
but I
happen.
do think you make the point with Bo Nix leading the charge. It doesn't matter how bad he plays, he keeps you in the fight. And the fact that you have a quarterback at this point who's been able to finish up and down games is a plus, because when you get towards the back end of the season, nobody's playing their best. You just got to win. And he's shown you it doesn't matter what the script looks like, he's going to close the show. So I'm fine with games like this, because I'd rather have a quarterback who's competent, like a Baker Mayfield, to produce like this, than having a quarterback like, man, we just got to chalk it up, because that's not what he can do well. He can't put on the cape.
Jackson Dart was about to own this city.
Yes.
If they would have won that game, my goodness.
They would have going to name sandwiches. They were going to name everything after.
Goodness gracious, we were robbed. Coming up, concerns about Caleb. But they've won 4 in a row. That's the good news. All right, let's go to Chicago, where the Bears have won 4 games in a row after beating the Saints. Caleb threw for 172 yards and a pick, but the offense ran all over the Saints, held them to 14 points. There were 4 takeaways yet again for the Bears defense. Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams spoke after the game. Take a listen.
Up and down. So that's what we've looked like. We haven't hit our stride yet offensively. We're capable of a lot more.
I threw an interception. I didn't play well today. And then the offensive line, pushes us through. DeAndre Swift and the backs push us through for 200-plus yards on ground. And so it's being able to find ways to win is what we've been able to do, and we're going to keep doing that.
So I was tweeting about this game, as I do, and a Bears fan from Chicago, got a lot of Bears followers, and I pointed out criticisms of Caleb Williams, and I got a lot of pushback. And it was like, the offense was good, the running game was good, the Bears won, can't you be happy? And my point is, like, of course I'm thrilled with 4 straight wins, but if the question is concern for Caleb and the Bears fair despite the win, my answer is yes, because I don't want to just be happy with, oh, that's nice, you won 4 in a row, you barely beat the Saints, and I know it was a double-digit win, but like, 4 takeaways is not sustainable.
Sure.
That is not a sustainable thing. Mm-hmm. I want to hold Caleb Williams to the standards of Drake May and Jaden Daniels, his draft class. I want to hold him to the standards ultimately of what his physical talent is, which I think is Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes and Josh Allen. Like, he was the #1 pick in the draft. So Caleb's not there yet, and that's okay.
Is it?
It is, but I don't want to lower the bar to they won in spite of him. And that being okay.
Yeah, but I look at the situation in reference to Caleb is I compare it to much like Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen wasn't him until year 3 or 4.
Yeah, no question.
It took some time.
That is the idealized version of how this goes.
Right, so my point, it took that cake some time to bake, right? And that's how I picture Caleb Williams. I think in reference to him and the Bears, y'all beat the Saints with y'all C game. You know what I mean? Botched snaps. He was sloppy in the pocket. It was patchy at times. But it was a run game and a defense that got you home with the dub. You couldn't say that about the Bears a year ago or 2 years ago.
No question.
So for me, this was a plus, right? The fact that he wasn't on his game and you still won and the defense showed up, it was an emotional win for Dennis Allen, and you had this run game really pop off the tape. And I'm saying, okay, this is what October football looks like. So for me, they were on schedule. Yeah, you could look around the league like, yeah, I want a guy who can light it up how Jalen Hurts did all that. But that's nonsense. This is where Caleb's at. I'm okay with that. So hopefully the rest of the Bears Nation is too.
Yeah, look, he's a young quarterback. He's in a new system for the 2nd year in a row. And I think if we just look at it in a vacuum and only look at the Chicago Bears and that organization and what they have going on, we'll take the prolonged or consistent growth over the course of the season. There are going to be moments like this. And you're a Bears fan, so you naturally, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel like my quarterback is the reason why we're not really maximizing who we are. However, when you look at, if you don't look at it in a vacuum like most people do, we all fall subject to this. We look up and we see Drake May over there doing what he's doing, and it's like, but why can't he has more ability, he has more talent. The fact of the matter is exactly what you said, Willie. It's going to take time.
Clearly.
As long as he's continuing to progress and he says things like, you know what, I didn't play well, I threw an interception. And he has that standard for himself because we know he doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. So when he does play bad and he does throw an interception, it happens.
That's why I wanted to include that piece from Caleb, too. It's like, of course it's okay for us to criticize it. He was critical of himself.
Yeah.
He has high standards
Absolutely.
for himself. The coach has high standards for him. And yeah, trust me, thrilled with the win. 'Cause I've seen the Bears lose plenty of games with their quarterback.
There you go.
So it's a nice change of pace.
Yes, sir.
Meanwhile, in Dallas, the Cowboys dominated the Commanders. 264 yards, 3 touchdowns from Dak. CeeDee Lamb picked up right where he left off in his return. 3-3-1 on the season. Dak after the division win over Washington. Take a listen.
It was great. It was explosive. It was fun. I mean, you saw the big plays. Saw some drives we put together. Our standard and expectations for ourselves is very high. The love that we have for one another, and you see it in just the way the guys finish plays, guys cover the ball, and defense played very well tonight. When you do that, I think more of our games are going to look like this.
Greg, how dangerous are the Cowboys?
Look, man, because of how they can get rolling on offense, they're dangerous. Like, I don't know how dangerous they are because they pretty much show up lopsided with one half of their team, and that's the offense. But this is how they're going. This is how they're built to win. They're going to win games solely and exclusively because of this offense. And if they're able to show up like this with CeeDee Lamb on one side and George Pickens on the other and the other sprinkle in and Ferguson is doing this thing and Williams in the backfield getting 100-yard gains, this team can score with the best of them. And one thing I know, having played on offenses that can put up points, if you can score, you can win. So this team is dangerous.
Yeah, listen, I don't know how dangerous the Cowboys are, but I know Dak Prescott gives me Freddie Krueger vibes. He's a nightmare for any defense. And
He's playing quarterback as well as anyone in the league.
Like, he's decisive, he's aggressive, he's explosive. I mean, what you see with him, with his timing and accuracy, he's just money good. And I've seen 12-5 Dak Prescott, and I thought that was good. This, to your point, is the best I've ever seen him.
Mm-hmm.
And they, 3-3-1, you're saying, how can that be, really? But when you put on the tape and you watch how he's anticipating throws, he's accurate with the football, he's sitting in the pocket, he's throwing the ball down the field, he's able to throw down the numbers. And I'm saying to myself, it's almost like he's in the Matrix. There's nothing he can't do bad right now. Like, everything seems good when he has the football in his hand. And you're right, Greg, when you produce at a high level like this, you're not so much worried about your defense because you can win in a shootout because you're explosive. So I love Dak, man. And we don't talk enough about it. Javonte Williams is a dog.
Yeah.
Well, so he's second in the league in rushing, and you talk about why they're so explosive because they can run the ball.
Yes.
Well, so quickly on the point of like 12-5 Dak, we've seen it. That 2 years ago when they led the league in scoring, CeeDee Lamb had 180 targets. It felt like it was just like everything was just throw to CeeDee, throw to CeeDee. Now it's CeeDee and Pickens and Javonte and Ferguson is great. It definitely feels more balanced and more sustainable. Let me just throw this theory at you quickly. So, like, that was a weird game, right? Jaden gets hurt, misses the last 4 possessions with the hamstring injury. Obviously, Washington's depleted. Their top 3 receivers are out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
League average for points allowed is 23 points per game. Dallas allows 22 yesterday. Can Dallas be a slightly below average defense and allow 24, 25 points per game? Because this is what Dallas's record is when they allow 24 points per game since 2021.
Oh, wow.
They are the best team in football. If I was going to tell you that the Cowboys are going to get the 22nd best defense the rest of the year, which, by the way, they're probably going to be a little worse than that because Washington was not fully healthy. Mm-hmm. But to your point, their offense is so good, they only need to be kind of bad on defense.
Yes. I just need you to get a couple stops.
Right.
But you know why I hate that? Because if you have Michael Parsons,
right.
Greg,
right.
You know, if you have Michael Parsons, this is a different. Now we're talking championship. We're talking NFC.
Right.
Like, we're talking a whole different.
Right. But I'm just saying, if they can figure it out, they can win a lot of games with that offense. We got a monster game tonight for the 1 seed, the MVP, the NFC tiebreakers. We get into it next. We're just over an hour away from kickoff in what should be an excellent game. Lions and Bucs tonight. Lions need to bounce back. Baker is second for the MVP.
Yeah.
Boys, chances the Bake Show outplays Goff tonight as an underdog.
Look, absolutely there's a chance. We're talking about a guy who's in the conversation, leading some of the conversation of MVP. Like, yes.
Yeah, we definitely know who the Lions are, but I think you're right. Baker has a shot to really dethrone the Lions. I think you talk about their light in the secondary, but what I love about Baker Mayfield, he's gritty and he plays with a lot of heart. This team rallies behind it. Baker can put on a show, so get your popcorn.
Well, and I know it's we do the MVP every week, Brew does his bout, whatever, but like, there's only so many times primetime, national TV,
exactly,
and an underdog. Like the Lions are at home. The Lions are supposed to win this game.
Yeah.
If Baker goes out there, and Ibuka is playing, which helps, but if Baker comes out and outplays him tonight, it's a game we'll remember 8 weeks from now.
Statement game.
Statement game opportunity.
Yes,
and tiebreakers.
All about making statements.
These teams are trying to be the 1 seed in the NFC. We're all over it tomorrow. Watch the baseball tonight.